If you've ever been overly excited for fall, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, fall starts on Sunday, September 22nd. We are almost there, but today is Fed Day. We've got the Fed decision coming. We've got a lot to talk about. I know the debate is all about 50 or 25. I'm sure we're going to have it again. 13's in the back. Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Happy Wednesday, right? Yep. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Happy Fed day. Happy turn, middle of the week, whatever you call it. Hopefully you're having a great morning. We are here to break down the market and get you all set for that Fed decision. It is great to see a whole bunch of interaction here already in the chat. You folks came to party. That is awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and bring on my main man, 13. 13, are you excited for today? I know you're excited about Lunar, and we're probably going to start with that. Might even do that before the movers, since it is one of the movers. But how are you doing, and are you excited?
I'm doing just wonderful. And hey, you said it's time to party. Well, I got my party pants on, so let's get partying. And I'm ready to go here. I got the list of movers going. Let's talk some stocks.
Party pants, is that like the MC Hammer pants where you take a garbage bag and you cut holes in them and then you get the MC Hammer? No, something else.
Whatever pants I'm wearing, because I'm the party.
Sounds good. Hopefully they're pajama pants. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the market. We are, of course, going to start with the SPY. We're about flat here in the pre-market. I guess technically we're up a little bit here in the pre-market, but for the most part, it's flat. We're still kind of hanging out around that triple top. Frankly, none of what happens this morning is really going to matter a whole lot until we get that rate decision. That's really going to create the movement in the market here today. So you could talk about the SPY and where we're at here. Maybe you've got some levels to look for, 13, in case we start moving. Maybe that's the way we should attack this. What do you think is going to happen here today with the rate cut?
Some in the chat have already said I think we're going to probably chop around a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know that we're going to necessarily go for new all-time highs like we did yesterday, but it's certainly possible we'll trade up a bit. We have the 565 and 16 cent previous all-time high now that will provide resistance, and we also have 561, which will provide support as it did yesterday. So those would be the two immediate levels I'd be looking at for the upside and downside for resistance and support. Whether or not we break above or below those, can't say for sure. But once the Fed decision comes out, I'm sure we'll start to choose a direction.
Yeah, and you also, when that Fed decision comes out, be mindful of the head fake, right? Be nimble with whatever you're doing, whether you're doing long or short. Just be nimble. We actually had someone in the happy hour yesterday remind us that the really big move generally comes the day after, not even the same day. A lot of that chop, a lot of that back and forth action as it kind of shakes out, and then it's the bigger move comes the next day. So awesome. All right, you want to talk about Lunar?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm just going to bring up the Lunar chart here. This is your baby. We got the piece of news that you have been waiting for yesterday. Here's your daily chart. You can see what's happened here. We basically popped above this 500 into a new area here. I'm going to set the table by reading you the news that we got yesterday, and then I'm going to have you take it away and discuss some of the levels there. Intuitive Machines says NASA awarded Near Space Network contract for communication and navigation services. Contract has a maximum potential value of $4.2 billion. So 13, break this down for us. What does this mean, and how does this change your trading of Lunar?
Well, the only difference that I'm going to be employing going forward is I'm going to be going from buying to selling. This was one of the stocks we've been talking about for a while, and we talked about how they we're going to be getting NASA contracts for their near-Earth satellite systems, and that was going to happen between, I think it was first mentioned it in late August, and I said anytime between now and the end of September, they're going to be getting these contracts. Here we are. The 17th is when they actually got those contracts, but we're within that time range. So this was not unexpected, but this was something we were just waiting for to happen, and we were just getting ourselves positioned. I know that there's some folks that were jumping into this prior to this move as well. So they're doing really well. And congratulations to all of you. I know Thinking About It was on this a lot. So if he's out there, well done, sir. As far as levels go, let's take a look here, because, for me, I'm just going to be looking towards the upside, and seeing as how we've in February, we got as high as almost 14. I want to see if we're going to end up getting that kind of price action as well. I've already taken some off the table, so booked a little bit of gains, but I want to see just exactly how high this goes. Now, we are at a bit of a point where there was consolidation from last year. So there may be some movement up and down, like chopping around, trying to get through that until we break above 10. But that's just what I'm going to be watching for now. As far as where we could end up going, I'd be looking, if we do get to 10 and go higher, I'd be looking at 1190 and 1325 as the next potential upside targets for that one. But this is a sell the news event, in my opinion. So if you aren't already in this, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to chase. I wouldn't suggest that. RSI is very high. I expect that if we do get any pop, that's going to be something to sell into, and we need to just take the gains, say thank you very much, and then wait for the next catalyst or setup.
Okay, awesome. So first of all, as far as like the trading goes here today, I do think this is going to provide day trades. What you just talked about was kind of a longer term thesis that you have. I think that this could absolutely set up to be a pretty good day trader here today. And furthermore, despite the really good news, I wouldn't be shocked if this kind of pulled a little bit out of the open, as people that were buying it yesterday or for a short-term trade do exactly what you said and sell the news here. I don't really think that's going to break down and reverse. I think that might just be a little dip. That might be a buying opportunity right out of the open. Before we move on, I gotta cover perhaps one of the most G things that I've heard here in the chat in some time. Smoke Tuna, who joins us from all over the world, is joining us from an overwater bungalow right now. I woke up today and thought I had it pretty good, and Smoke Tuna said, "Hold my exquisite French wine. I have it a lot better than you." Are you in the Maldives, Smoke Tuna? Because I've actually seen some of the pictures from those overwater bungalows from the Maldives. Awesome. Enjoy your vacation. Hopefully today is very, very profitable for you. But pretty sweet there, Smoke Tuna. All right, 13. You want to do some of the movers here? You want
Sure, let's do it.
I see you're going off in the chat already.
Well, I was just answering a question that Jay Rice had about the big mover from yesterday that hopefully a lot of us ended up trading. Yeah, but Brittany, I'm right there with you. I was trading it small as soon as it got over 10. I was trading it very, very small, but I was looking for 20 to 23 based on some longer term EMAs. That worked out pretty well. But man, just watching it go up there and just getting ready to sell, it was nerve wracking, because it just went up so fast, and these things it was like 500% at one point. Just you would know that that's going to pull, and it sure did. Look at that.
Yeah,
you just didn't want to be caught in that. So yes, it's easy to make one nervous trying to trade this as you're making these incredible highs.
Yeah, I'll say this. Brittany here said GLMD gave me so much anxiety yesterday. Smiling face, sweaty emoji, but I loved it. You are a trader, Brittany. Congratulations. That shows you are exactly where you belong. As far as GLMD goes, I had a really small scalp in the morning, and I figured, we'll just kind of let this one go. Then when we got off the show and this thing really just started running, I was like, damn. Wish I still had my shares. I'm going to have to trade this thing again. Thankfully, the momentum was so ridiculous, really up into the afternoon. Like really, once we started this consolidation, I was basically done with it. And then you saw what happened. It kind of fell off here, but massive momentum to the upside here, made for scalps. I think I wrote 4 or 5 tickets on this. I think it was 5, including the morning trade. So one of the more active tickers, we're able to scalp some money out of here. This is not one that I would hold. This is one that this is why we try to scale in and scale out in some of these moves, because if you were scaling with this one, oh man, you probably had one of the best days you've had in a long time. So, yeah, all right, my movers tool is freaking out here. Not sure why.
Yeah, this was all on recompliance. So to get such a move like that on recompliance is really, really incredible. But at the same time, it's at a certain point that it's overdone. and it was getting really overdone yesterday. Gotta say, thinking about it, glad to see you here. I just think Lunar is a sell the news event because this is the news we've been waiting for. Now, I don't think this is the peak. I do think that this has more, in the pipeline. It's going to get going at some point again soon. But as far as the trading goes today, I think that I would be wanting to sell into this and then just wait for the next setup, because I agree with you. I don't think this is done. But today, this is good liquidity, good strength to sell into, I think.
There you go. Okay. Jay, we didn't cover this. SPY up 7 days in a row going into this print.
Yep. Even yesterday, which was a red day, we still ended up closing higher than the day before.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think we sell off today. You want me to make a call here? Maybe I'll be wrong. Despite whatever the decision is and how much to cut, if they do cut, I think we sell off here today. And I think Jay brings up a really good point about the SPY running up into this. Be curious to know what you folks think about that. Okay. That's GLMD from yesterday. As far as the movers go here, here's your first one. Oh, sorry. The one thing that I wanted to cover on GLMD, and this is one of the reasons, I actually have to type the ticker incorrectly. This is one of the reasons you and I cover this every morning when we talk about some of these movers. We almost always mention the float. Yeah. What we saw out of GLMD yesterday is likely not going to be possible without the float structure that it had. So 624,000 shares in the float. You're going to get violent moves up and down potentially in these names. And it was great because we were able to take advantage of that yesterday. But we cover this all the time when we cover some of these movers. This is why. Keep that in mind. And boy, I can't wait for Friday till this new patch comes out and fix this stupid thing on movers.
Then you go look at one of the other ones that we talked about yesterday, SES, that had a much larger float. That didn't do anything. It was the supply was just too heavy to really get it going. So to your point, yeah, these smaller names, you're going to get results like this. The larger ones, not so much. Sometimes they do get going if there's enough, people looking at it and trading it. But most times when it's like over, 50, 100 million, 200 million, you're gonna get a lot of leaking throughout the day, and that's what SES ended up doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about some of these other movers. Yeah.
SES leaked all day. Elon here really quickly saying most people want wish sell-off or are expecting it. Wouldn't be surprised if the market does the opposite. Me either. How much of that have we seen? I think that's heads up here. If the market is expecting something, you can be sure that they will inflict as much pain on the retail trader as possible. Okay, first mover here is going to be PRTG. This is Portage Biotech, and wow, what a move. This actually traded above 20. We've had expanding volume all pre-market, which is really, really good. We retraced about 50% of that move, still up 177% here in the pre-market. We've consolidated right above the VWAP. We've done a really good job holding above the VWAP. Sure looks like this one could be on deck here for a trade today. Just kind of keeping in with what we were just talking about. Look at the float, 706K. So this move shouldn't necessarily surprise. 13, what do you have here on PRTG? Do you look to trade this? And if so, what's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, it's low. It's got a low float, so we're going to see some movement. They did just do a reverse split, 1 for 20 back on August 15th. And we did get some movement out of that, I think, on the 23rd. There was like a high volume day that I can see from right here. So now we're getting another day where not the volume is spiking, but the price. I think that we might get some resistance around 1450 because I see a 200 EMA right in that area on the daily chart. I'd be looking at that as a potential resistance level, and we're almost there, about $2.20 away. I don't have a whole lot of levels before that, other than we are trying to work through some consolidation here from back in February to April. So once we chew through that, it might get going a little bit more up into that EMA. After that EMA, if it keeps going, it could end up running up to, let's say, 1740 and 1990.
Okay. The funniest part about this one, we talked. Yeah, I think we left happy hour. We wrapped it up by saying we wouldn't be surprised if there was another GLMD type move tomorrow. Okay. Really, the only question is going to be what stock is it? Well, you might have your answer right here. PRTG, similar type float, similar type move, at least in the pre-market so far. We will see what happens. This one definitely on the list. Okay, next one here is going to be Lunar. Now, I know we already talked about this one, so we probably don't need to break this down anymore. As far as the trading activity here, ideally what I'd like here is a dip out of the open, maybe to one of these support levels, probably to the VWAP, might even take that VWAP out, and then set up for another up move. Volume's going to tell the story here. We broke this down, the news, the significance, the importance of that. As far as an upside level here, I'll give you one here, 875, 9, and then the one from the pre-market yesterday going to be 920. So these are some of your upside levels here on Lunar. Downside support levels, got one here at about 740. Let's call it 740 to 750. Another one in here maybe at 775, and then maybe $7 to the downside. So did you have anything else you wanted to add to Lunar, or should we just move on?
I've gushed enough about it.
There we go. Next on the list here is going to be VEEA, and this is VIA, I believe. You can see that this stock here popped and traded above 16. If we take a look here, this looks like a new issue. CrowdKeep and VIA announced strategic partnership to deliver AI-enabled hybrid edge cloud managed solutions for construction, healthcare, logistics, and education. Boy, they really threw the kitchen sink in there. You're getting a PR here. Stock's up 50% here today. I don't have a float reading for this. This looks like a new issue. We don't really have a whole lot of data on this one. Was this a SPAC? This is a convert. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of data.
It looks like it could have been. I mean, you look at the chart and the consolidation forever at 10.
Yeah,
that's an indication that this is a SPAC.
Yeah. Yeah. So Internet of Things play. I'd be curious to know if you folks have anything on this. 13. This wasn't one of the ones you covered. We had kind of slim pickings this morning. So
we did. And the thing that I didn't have this on my list, but just looking at it right now, yesterday seems to have been a pretty bad day for it. So what you have here is a low RSI play. You're getting a bounce. I think that's what we're seeing here. So I don't have a whole lot on the fundamentals or anything like that. So just looking at this, I just think that we're seeing a bounce. I don't know how this is going to trade. If it trades up, let's say that the ceiling on that would be about $9 to $9 to the downside. Don't know, maybe 4 or less. I really couldn't say with this one. It's making some big moves, but the clearest thing for me is that we are at a low RSI, and I think we're getting a bump up from that.
Okay, good stuff there. Not a whole lot on VIA. We'll see how it ends up trading. Next one on the list, though, is going to be NVVE, New V Holdings. Stock also had multiple volume pops here today. We traded above 7. We've come back in a little bit, which is great. We are below the VWAP, but we really haven't broken down from the VWAP, so it doesn't really look terrible. Another support level right beneath us here at maybe 565, 567. This stock, again, 530K in the float. So we've got a number of low float movers here. I didn't see really anything. We had a Form 8, it looked like, yesterday. So what's going on with this one, 13?
They just did a reverse split, and that completed yesterday. So when you look at the volume on the daily chart, you see that we had a huge spike in volume. So there's 2 things happening here that I can tell is that the reverse split for one, and also this is going to be a relative volume play now since we have that large amount of volume comparatively to how it normally trades. So it does now have a 530,000 share float, and the split was a 1-for-10. That's most of the information I have, but when I looked at the balance sheet, I saw that they do need cash. So this could be one that ends up doing an offering or raises some kind of cash through a series of notes. So be careful with this one. This is a bit of a question mark for me because they are trying to regain compliance, and the reverse split was the first step. Now they need to raise some money.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Tom saying, when buying butterfly contracts, is it generally better not to buy many of them due to the fact it could be hard to get out of them because of the multi-legs? So Anne-Marie talks about this a lot. Yes, don't go crazy with these butterflies. If you do, one of the things you might have to do is leg out of them individually. She calls that triaging. But yes, the butterflies that I've taken, I've never really taken a whole lot. If you consider one butterfly, 1 on the wing, 2 on the body, and 1 on the other wing, if you consider that one butterfly, I don't think I've ever taken more than 10 in a position in my entire career. So just some food for thought there. Really good way to lower your risk. That's the whole point of using a butterfly to begin with. But you're on here. Depending on the contract and how you set that butterfly up, it might be very difficult to fill it if you have a huge one. Okay. Smoke Tuna on NVVE says it always comes down. Maybe we'll avoid. Okay.
Not a bad idea. I mean,
yeah, really good stuff.
Like I said, it does need cash. We've seen plenty of these that need cash raise that very same day and absolutely trap people in these higher prices. So yeah, be careful with NVVE at the most, maybe not even trade it. There's other things to trade, and we'll go over those in just a tick here.
Yep. Amanda here adding some more stuff, saying it a little bit more succinctly than I did. As a rule, if it's thinly traded and you have a hard time getting in, you'll have the same trouble getting out. That sounds about right to me. Okay. NVVE. Next here is going to be, did we do that? Yes, we did. Next here is going to be APLT, Applied Therapeutics. We do have a catalyst here. Applied Therapeutics shares trading higher after the FDA communicated that an advisory committee meeting would no longer be required. So getting some FDA news. We did pop almost towards 750. We've come back to the VWAP, and thus far we are holding it. Take a look at the share structure here. This is one of your 102 million share float. What do you got here? 13.
So yeah, it's the float is on the larger side, and this is one of those ones where we need to be careful because it might have a hard time moving that supply to the upside. One good thing it has going for it is that it has a 9.5% short interest with 10.7 days to cover. So we could get some squeezing action out here, and that's possibly what we're getting this morning. Now, as we saw with SES yesterday, there may not be some very good price action. It may just slowly leak throughout the day, maybe drop at the open like SES did. The news, certainly is helpful for the company, especially for their lead drug. Mm-hmm. But that supply just has me worried that we're not going to be able to get too many good trades out of this. So that's a very big, be careful for me on APLT. The float is just a little bit too big for my liking.
Yep. Well said. We have some other targets and we'll be patient with that. Really quickly, Aramis here saying, good morning. Why are some stocks set to only closing? I can't buy shares. This is a broker specific issue. Sometimes you will have a broker that says you can't buy this. And the only way that you can use your platform in order to buy or sell is just to exit the position. So what I would do is if you come across this, you can call the trade desk at whoever your broker is, and they might be able to execute that order for you. Then you'd be able to close it from your terminal. But again, key here, this is broker specific. Okay, let's see. Let's go to the next one here once I've stopped this thing from freaking out. Next one here was going to be VVPR, I believe. We talked about VVOS already. No, we've got a couple of these. Sorry. Nope. We've got several of these that start with V. There's actually 3 of them today. So we only hit one of them. Super helpful.
NVVE, VVOS, VVPR. Yeah. What's with these, guys?
It's some, you know what? We get that sometimes, the V days, and then we also get the I days, right? Where all those stocks that start with I start running. Anyway, VVOS here. Vivos Therapeutic shares are trading higher after the company announced it secured FDA 510K clearance to treat moderate to severe pediatric sleep apnea and snoring, excuse me. I thought there was a T in there. that would have been something, huh? So we're getting a pop here. It's went above 4. The good news here is that this is really just kind of trading around its VWAP. So maybe we get a volume expansion move. I will say, looking at the volume here in the pre-market, I really kind of need this to kick up before I think that this is going to be a target that moves to the upside. How many of these have we looked at where it's had an impulse pop in the pre-market, come under the VWAP, and then stay under the VWAP the entire day or for a majority of the day? I think that might be what happens here on VVOS. You have anything on this one? 2.48 million in the float?
Not really. The only thing that I saw that was encouraging is that it has enough cash, a cash runway to keep going at its current operation. The one interesting thing is that if it does manage to trade its way up to 4, that appears to be a bit of a resistance level, because just after that, there's a gap to fill. And that's also been, you can look to the left, that's also been a previous support level. So I think 4 might be the ceiling on this one, if it even gets up there today. Should it break above that and start to fill the gap, my guess would be it doesn't go much higher than 450, 460.
Okay. Really good stuff there. And then the last one here. Oh, we're open.
We're open.
Last one here is VVPR. It's really not even worth looking at,
Relative
to be
volume.
honest with you. So yeah.
Yep, relative volume on
Okay,
that.
let me flip back to I got all types of problems with my platform here. Holy cow.
All right, so let's
Holy
see
cow.
what we got here. What's Lunar doing right now? Getting support from VWAP.
NVVE looks like it's trying to take the VWAP out here. Battle right at 650. We'll see if this one goes higher. APLT, another one from the list here, trying to push off the VWAP, but just doesn't have the juice yet.
Yeah, they're not really moving quite yet.
Nope.
APR.
Make sure this one's from today.
All right, so Lunar losing 8.
Let me bring Lunar up here. That's probably going to be our best mover here today. And this is the dip that I was talking about, folks.
Here we go with NVVE. It just had a pop above VWAP. This thing's whipping around a little bit now, trying to hold that VWAP.
PRTG selling off here. Be careful with that one. Lunar, let's see if this breaks down through 8 on Lunar.
Just well, I liked your snorting comment. I thought that was funny.
I literally read it as snorting. That was my own fault.
Looks like Lunar is recapturing 8 and trying to recapture VWAP. That will be next. I have VWAP at 823. Current price is 8. Well, it's whipping around, but it's around 815. And
here you go. So maybe here we go. So we're right at the VWAP now on Lunar.
Mm-hmm. And PRTG, that just dropped beneath VWAP and then recaptured it. So still kind of flat at the moment. VVPR. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just wondering if anyone else has had trouble buying PRTG in their broker. Anyone else have that? No, it's ripping now.
Yeah, Lunar now getting back up there. Looks like 875 and then 880 seems to be the next two resistance areas. And then after that, looks like 920 and then 950.
PRTG, interestingly enough, this is trying to get above this consolidation area here.
Yep.
See if we get it here. PRTG, this thing can move. It's kind of a wild one. Be careful with this one if you're able to trade it.
If it starts to get going, it's going to probably be a break over 1380.
Here's sorry. I'm just trying to read the breaking one. This is APLT. This is also going here. PRTG really just kind of reversed right there. Like I said, be careful with that one. It's all over the place.
APLT is going, so that a little bit of a short interest is helping push it up. 737 is the pre-market high. Looks like this you could probably make a case that it tries to push to 8, but again, the supply is heavy and it might take a lot of more volume than what it's got right now to get up there. VVPR still kind of sideways and lower. NVVE had a move up and then a move down to match it. Now looks like it's trying to go lower under 6.
Apple up here out of the gate. VVOS looking like it might be trying to reclaim VWAP here.
Oh, yeah. All right, just looking around. PRTG still sideways. NVVE. I mean, a lot of these things, we just need to wait for a direction for some of these.
Yeah, and we talked about that SPY, by the way, coming in. Let me actually bring that up here. We talked about the market just kind of being choppy maybe a little bit before this. SPY's dipping here a little bit. Palantir ripping out of the gate here. It was a little bit weaker in the pre-market, ripping right back to that 3650 level.
Looks like NVVE trying to turn around, recapture VWAP. Looking good.
Here you go. Yeah. Maybe we will trade that one.
Looks like Lunar is trying to get back up to the 9 area. It's definitely trying to head for 888, the pre-market high.
Yeah. And I would say if this breaks, you probably have a 9 test coming fast.
Yeah.
Smoke Tuna mentioning VVPR, no juice. Sure seems that way. Sure seems that way. WBI, that's a penny stock. Sens, this is super thick. Rated that one in the past.
Here we go with NVVE. And this one might halt. Still moving. It hasn't halted yet. Looks
Here's
like,
your 7 test coming.
Yep. Okay, now it might start to halt here. 758 is the pre-market high. Looks like we're beelining for that right now. And that's where we might end up going after this halt. Okay.
It is halted. NVVE halted right here. 699, right ahead of 7 there.
Fantastic.
All right. PRTG turning around a little bit. Still, though, just really be careful with this one. It's really kind of all over the place. It's deciding what it wants to do here from VWAP. If it breaks off this 13, I do think it can get wild, but just be careful with this one, folks.
Yeah, APLT still making it's made a new high. So it broke out of the pre-market high. 772 is the current high. Let's be careful. I always want to think about the float on this one. As soon as it looks like it's going to start to rip and keep going, that float just becomes too heavy to hold up.
APLT for
you're doing well. Sorry, go ahead.
We're going to get a 1-up for whoever was trading APLT here. This was a big rip right off that VWAP out of the open. I'm not in this one. I did not take this one.
Nope. I'm a little too concerned about that float size to mess around with that one.
You. ISPC halted as well. iSpecimen is popping a little bit here.
Looks like PRTG is trying to.
Yeah, it's really flirting with this area here. 13 seems to stop it. We have traded above 13 here, just like we just did, but it never really kind of gets going from here. That's what I'd like to see. 13, this pre-market channel here, 1373, the top end there. We haven't really tested that yet, but that could be on deck here. BBLG Smoke Tuna, that was one from earlier this week. Haven't brought that one up. Let me do that real quick. Oh, BBLG at the highs here. This is a nice move right out of the gate. Sorry, I missed this one.
Yeah, what's going on here? I mean, I can figure this out. I've got the tools. But, yeah, what's going on this morning? Don't see anything. Wonder if it's just trying to go for the 1675 valuation from Zacks. I don't think it's going to get there. Not anytime soon. But we'll see.
We shall see. Don't see anything terribly crazy with the options here. Biggest one I've seen is this Oracle put sweep. Oracle's had a recent huge move. Maybe this is just a regression back to the mean here on Oracle. There's
a big move down in Lunar underneath 8 again.
Ooh, let me bring Lunar up here real quick. Here's your dip. Again, watch some of these pre-market levels to see if this finds some support here. 778, 730 to the downside here.
Yeah, I could see 750 coming into play pretty soon here if we go lower. That was kind of a bit of a support level in the pre-market.
SPY to the bottom end of its pre-market range and is trying to bounce now. Rest of the market looks okay. Dow was a little bit lower, but holding in there. NASDAQ is at the lows, but really not breaking down. We look okay across the board, at least so far. VIX up at 19. That'll be interesting to see if that gets rolling.
It's where?
I have it here at 1909.
That's a little elevated. That's a little elevated. We'll take it.
I mean, yesterday we were right at 17. It popped here out of the open. I don't think that's a misread. What do you folks have for VIX? What do you have, 13, on your VIX chart?
Let me take a look.
Wally says too many movers. We just have a handful of them that we're kind of watching here. I'll scroll through the list again though. Omex, Odyssey Marine. This isn't the sub that went to the Titanic and
which one?
Catastrophically fit. No,
that's Ocean Gate.
Yeah, Ocean, thank you. The only reason I bring that up is because I actually saw a video yesterday from some Coast Guard robot that was at the bottom that actually found its remains. It's like straight into the ground. Pretty eerie. But in any case, all right. Lunar did, so that little dip did get bought. That's kind of what we were expecting. We're actually back above the VWAP here. This Lunar, if this takes off, no pun intended, this is actually a pretty decent spot here for Lunar for a trade.
BBLG now at a high of 225. This thing is going higher. This thing is a little bit of a rocket ship right now.
Nice little move there. Let's see what some of our next levels could be. Actually, we are kind of at a resistance level here. I'd also put one up at 3 if we can get there. 380, and then maybe 420. Wint, I saw that moving on the pre-market. That's Windtree. That's one that we've actually day traded recently here. Yep. Let's take a look at that and see what's going on.
Last week.
Windtree, maybe if it gets above that VWAP and starts rolling, maybe. That OMEX that we just took a look at, that's halted here to the upside. What happened yesterday on this? Why did this thing get absolutely murdered? Wins NAFTA arbitration case against Mexico and awarded 37.1 million plus interest, and it went down.
Sell the news? I don't know.
It's not one that I follow. I guess we could read into this case here. Not one that I follow, though. Would love to know if any of you guys follow this one. And it's halted to the upside here, maybe on a dead cat bounce.
Thinking about it, giving us another one. RCAT.
That's Carmen likes that one too, I believe. Yeah. I believe RCAT's a pretty popular one here. What's RCAT doing here today? Not much of anything.
Not today. He's talking about a contract.
Gotcha.
Coming up with the DoD. So, like Lunar, just position yourself for that contract if you want to play it.
All right.
BBLG 230 the high.
I'll be honest, 13. I don't know about you. I haven't really seen anything that I am excited about.
Today?
Yeah, today for a new trade. Sorry, I guess I should be more clear.
PRTG also halted now to the downside.
Yep, PRTG to the downside. We said from the outset here, be careful with this one.
I think. I agree with what you're saying, that there's not a whole lot that kind of jumps out at you for trades. I'm seeing that as well. But, I did have one. Was it this one? No, hold on. I traded one of these this morning. Let me just figure out which one it was.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that I really like yet here today.
Oh, it was NVVE. I traded that one this morning before the halt.
Sweet. How's Tesla doing? Let me bring up Tesla here. It's one of our favorites.
Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the MAG7, see how they're doing. Looks like it's mixed.
Tesla having trouble deciding which direction it wants to go. Pop out of the open, reversal, and maybe we kind of caught that. This didn't quite hit yesterday's lows. A lot of NVIDIA calls in here. Interesting. What's going on with NVIDIA? Same deal, same chart.
Yeah, Tesla, Google, and Apple are the MAG7 that are up today. NVIDIA down at 115. Let's take a look at Tesla. I know that those levels that I've had have been working out pretty well. Okay, so we got almost up to 232, and now I'd be looking for a test of 226. Maybe there's some support there. It's been a support level in the past. Let's see if we get that today.
Smoke Tuna mentioning Neon. Oh, excuse me. Neon here. Nice little rip out of the gate. Again, don't see a trade set up there, though. Mark Kaufman says, do we think Lunar is going to take off? Mark, I see what you did there. I think we have mostly Lunar bulls here. We did talk about this maybe kind of trading sideways and consolidating before it makes its next move here.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the price action goes today, I'm just looking for some good areas to sell into, but it's been sideways mostly today so far.
Palantir right back up towards its highs here. For Palantir to go higher if it can snap that 3650. JJ asking, Ryan, what time do you guys start trading? JJ, do you mean the show? Do you mean actually executing trades? I don't necessarily have a set time. I don't do the pre-market because I just often get head faked and hurt in the pre-market. got a number of traders in here that are really good at adding in the pre-market and waiting for the open.
Evos.
I generally wait 15 minutes past the open to start executing my trades. Show starts at 9. What was that, 13? I'm sorry.
Vivos, VVOS. It's back above VWAP, starting to get some strength here, trying to push up higher.
Let's see. We did get the expanding volume that we're looking for on that VWAP move, but as we've seen with VVOS, it really has a difficult time staying above it. I'd like to see this build, maybe even back test and hold like we kind of just did right there. Maybe it can move higher. 360 would really kind of get it going, it looks like.
APLT up to 8 now. For something with such a large float, it's not doing too bad.
No, a lot of trading in here. JJ, executing trades like 5 a.m. ever? No, it's been a number of years before I was actually executing trades in the pre-market. I generally prepare for the day during that time.
Yeah, pre-market, it's its own animal, and it's not for everybody. I do tend to like to have the amount of activity during the regular session, so I tend to just stick with those. BBLG looking to try and take out 230, the high that it put in about 5 minutes ago.
OMEX resumed and then halted immediately. This thing ripped right out of that halt, and I mean ripped out of that halt. ISPC halted. This looks like resumed. I beg your pardon. ISPC resumed, also going higher.
Careful with NVVE. This looks like it may have just triple topped. If we count the price action in the pre-market, that's what we may have just seen here with this one. You see what I'm referring to there?
Yeah, these three right here.
Yeah, it looks slightly different on mine, but it's pretty much 760 is where it's topped out at 3 times. So we'll see if it loses a VWAP. If we lose a VWAP and make our way through this demand zone that we put in the pre-market, then I think 555 is going to probably be the next support level.
Marvell. Neon halted to the downside. Big yank on Neon. Grouch of Wall Street. You touched on dividend stocks yesterday. What are your thoughts on the recent BITO monthly payouts? Looks like they figured out how to trade those derivatives both ways when Bitcoin goes up and down. So I think 13 actually holds some BITO. Yep. Another, by the way, PRTG is open here. So it's a number of these halt stocks opening up here. PRTG getting absolutely destroyed. Be really careful, folks. You're in luck though, Grouch, because we're going to have Tim Melvin on today, and his big thing is dividend stocks, and in particular small banks. So you're going to get some more on that. 13, did you have anything? Any thoughts on the BITO monthly payouts?
No, I did get that because they do pay out. But the thing is that I wanted to have some exposure to Bitcoin, and that was the way I wanted to do it, because I still am, back and forth on that particular asset. So I'm just going to stick with the ETFs on that until further notice. So yeah, if I'm going to play crypto at all, it's going to be through the ETFs.
Okay, and really quickly here. So here's the chart for BITO. I guess I should have brought this one up too. You can see here, this not as volatile as some of those other Bitcoin names. So maybe something to keep in mind here. I am interested that the high monthly payout that is interesting to me, but no firsthand experience with that, Grouch. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that. Amanda saying, Ryan, when you get a chance, what was that cool calculation you had to look at the expected move of options? Okay, really good question here. Let me go ahead and demonstrate that for you. So the way I learned this from Dan Nathan, who is a professional trader on CNBC. I'm sure you folks have seen a lot of it. Whatever it is that you're looking at, like if you're looking for Apple right here, we want to go to the contract, the monthly contract that is here. Let me see. Real quick. That is the October 18th expiry. You want to go to the current or near month, and you want to add the at the money contract together. So in this case, we've got a $3.50 ask and a $9 ask. So that's what, $12.55. And then you multiply that $12.55 by 80%. So 0.8. And that will give you the implied move based on the options. The other way that you could do this is you can use the straddle as opposed to looking at the calls and puts. The the way I learned it was just to add these numbers together. So that's kind of what I do.
VVOS has recaptured VWAP. It looks like we might get some upside movement here pretty soon. It's got to get through 360. There's a bit of a resistance area there. But if we can do that, I think 4 is on the table.
Okay. PRTG. Ooh, we curled back to this one. Might not. I go back and forth on this because I think that this might be the most volatile stock that we have here today. It might be the most dangerous, but also the most rewarding. So I just kind of keep an eye on it here. This did halt down and is now curling back up to the VWAP. Watch if that gets above. You could get some fireworks there. Well, I just ran you over there, 13. What were you looking at?
I was just reading what Thinking About It had said. He's mentioned ZVRA. There's supposed to be a FDA approval expected shortly. So you keep that on your radar. Maybe there's something that we're going to get during this show here that sends this thing up. It's already up 2.25% in the regular session today. Thank you for that thinking.
Thinking About It's got it. It's got it here today.
All right, what else are we seeing moves? Looks like
Bitcoin lost that 60K handle again, down to 59K and a half. VIX still just under 19. Looks like that is kind of going back and forth a little bit here.
Yeah, it was at like just under 19. I have mine currently over 1932 at the moment.
VVOS popped out of that formation here and it's going higher now. Well, it just broke that other pre-market high. I think next stop here is probably 4 VVOS.
Yeah. There we go. Look, this is what we're looking for. Good stuff. Now, whether or not we're going to see it hold for or not, that's the other question, because you can see from the pre-market, every time we've gone, let's say, past 370, we'll say, it's been met with a lot of selling. So just be prepared to or have your orders out and ready to sell, because it looks like this could also do the same thing that did in the pre-market, where it just comes right back in after it reaches a certain point. Just like, and really fast too. So be careful here.
Smoke Tuna had mentioned AIoT here. This is Powerfleet. Powerfleet shares trading higher after the company announced it entered into a definitive agreement for the acquisition of Fleet Complete for $200 million. This actually spiked to the highs, came back in, and looks like it's trying to go back up there. We got Palantir looking like it's going to try some new highs here. That early weakness getting deleted. Let's see if Palantir can get above. Looks like the level we need to move above, 36.50. I think if we get above that here, Palantir could go higher. Let's see if we get that.
Big wall at $4 on the VVOS. Hasn't quite gotten there yet. I think we just basically got a penny away from $4. Be careful with this one. Like I said, it could really come back in quickly.
Lion Atlas is literally trying to troll everybody by asking what was the rate cut. Bro, I think every person that is participating in the market today is still waiting for that. Lion Atlas just strolling in here asking us what it was. That is doing it for the lulz. You love to see that. You love to see that.
We get it at 2 p.m. Eastern, everybody. And now MVVE suspended to the downside, halted otherwise. That's the triple top resolving itself now.
We have a lot of halts here today.
Yes, sir, Brian Jones, 2 p.m. Eastern. Yep.
Good morning, Brian. It's great to see you this morning. Neon has resumed. That was a halt down, wasn't it? Yeah, that went a little bit lower, but is bouncing here. Neon's trying to hold in there.
Lunar under 8, making new lows in the regular session.
Daniel's asking, will you be live for it? So 13 and I will not be live for the rate decision, but we will have a stream through the Benzinga YouTube showing that. And I don't know if they have reaction scheduled for that one, but there will be a stream. There will be a stream.
If I remember to do it, I'll try and jump in the chat for that stream.
Okay.
We can BS with each other there.
Okay. Yep. I Wednesday. I hate the way that the schedule falls out. I have like multiple midday meetings on Wednesday, and it always messes up the Fed days. So I'm going to try I'm going to try to be as active as I can, but we'll see. All right, folks, it is almost 10 o'clock, just like 5 minutes shy to 10 o'clock, and it is a Wednesday, so you know what that means. It's time for the one and only Tim Melvin. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Tim, how are you doing here today, my man?
Very well. Happy to see everybody on Fed Day. What a momentous day, right? My best advice for Fed Day, I'm going to give you this. This is based on 35 years of experience, okay? Here's the best way to make money on Fed Day. Everybody ready? Eat way too much for lunch, have a couple glasses of wine, take a damn nap. Okay? I mean, this is look, yes, Fed policy influences a whole bunch of things that are going on in the world, okay? However, we've now spent a month talking about, are they going to cut this much? Are they going to cut that much? And the opinions change every day. The betting swings in the Fed funds futures market remind me of a bunch of drunk gamblers watching a New York Jets game. Okay. It's just the swings from side to side, and it's 50 and it's basis and it's this and it doesn't matter, guys. I mean, it has some implications for the economy. It has some implications for the bond market. But if you try to trade this thing, look, every market maker, every options market maker in the world this morning ordered a brand new Mercedes and told his wife to go ahead and tell the realtor that they take the house. Okay, because everybody's going to have this churn of activity between 2 and 3 o'clock, and it's going to be sound and fury signifying nothing. And if you don't think they haven't adjusted their prices to guarantee they make money and you don't understand trading and market making. Okay, so they're stacking the deck against you while you sit here plotting your strategy. So everything that happens today, everything that will ever happen in a Fed meeting, everything that will ever happen with government policy is going to show up in one price or another. There's two places it'll show up. One's corporate valuation. The other's in price. It'll show up in momentum, right? If there's a company that is going to benefit dramatically from what the Fed does today, it's going to start going up right after the decision. Jump on that stock and take the ride tomorrow.
All right, really good stuff. I did not have recommend day drinking for lunch on my bingo card today either, but Tim, you never disappoint. Never disappoint. And our chat loves it too.
If it'll keep you from trading around the Fed announcement, because the deck is, I promise you, stacked 1,000% against you going into this. And it has no impact on it would have been more fun than this some days, but well, you know, we look at everything through three lenses, Ryan, and I've learned this over the years. Now, I started off as a traditional deep value Ben Graham investor, cutting my teeth on distressed stuff and utility nuclear overruns and real estate and oil blow-ups and the end of the junk bond market. It was a lot of fun. I have to tell you that. But as you go on through life, you learn that there's more than just value. Value works. It's changed over the years, according to the big guys. But if you stay to pure Ben Graham style value, it still works really well. But you know what? If you try to pick a lane here and you say, well, value works, so momentum can't, you're leaving money on the table. Because momentum works very well. And I've come to learn over the years that trend following in markets is crucial to success. So there's like three places that you need to pay attention to succeed as an investor. Okay. And there are way, this is so unpopular what I'm about to say on this particular show. There are way more wealthy investors than there are wealthy day traders.
Yeah. No question.
I mean, by a factor of about 100 to 1. Okay. So when we look at these through those three lenses and looking at the momentum lens now, and I'm going to use curve as an example of how momentum trading works because it worked and then it stopped. We talked about it on the show 4 or 5 weeks ago. I think the stock was between 6 and 7. It ran up to 9 and immediately had a pullback in July, had a gap down. You should have gotten out on that gap down and been out at 8, right? You took a small profit. As soon as the momentum was gone, you were gone. 1 or 2 out of every 10 stocks that you do on this with using momentum driven by earnings momentum is going to take the long ride. Okay. What you're looking for as a momentum investor each and every time out, you are looking for the monster energy of your career, because that's the one that makes you rich. And you're going to have a bunch of in-betweens that go up 2-3 times. You're going to have a bunch that do exactly what Curve did. You're going to get out with a small loss or a small gain. But when you're talking about momentum, you're looking, or I'm looking in particular, at smaller cap stocks where you're just starting to see the institutional money come in, right? You stay it with a reasonable stop based. I use volatility-based stops. I use daily volatility times 5. Some people use the standard deviation of the stock to set their stops. Some people use a fixed formula. I think that's a little dicey. But if you use a stop, the minute the momentum's gone, you're gone. But if you get one of these long-lasting NVIDIA monster energy type runs, you make a fortune.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea behind momentum investing. And we'll talk more about value investing on other days. And we've still got a lot of stuff to talk about trend as we go through this little journey together. But today, clearly, I'm here to talk about momentum.
Okay. So real quick here, Amanda is saying, how do we get more Tim? Do you do any other podcasts? Tim, if you do any, I'd like to know. I will say Tim is getting ready to do more with us here. So you really don't even have to go anywhere. You're going to be getting more Tim pretty soon. Tim, I'm looking to starting a podcast, and he would for sure be one of my guests. Okay. Yeah, and we have no rules there either. If we did that, none, zero.
We do have the Benzinga Yield Report, which is a portfolio, and I do a weekly video update on that. So it's not necessarily a podcast, but I do podcasts with friends, and don't have any on the schedule at the moment, but I can let you guys know when we're doing that.
Yeah.
But we are going to be doing a lot more here on Benzinga with Benzinga Edge and Benzinga Pro, to develop a suite of tools for momentum, for value, for trend, and for all the other things that help you unlock. I don't want to call them secrets because they're just right out there in the open. But all the stuff that successful investors do that nobody wants to do, right? Because whether it's value, momentum, or trend, it's not always super exciting, right? Like the best traders in the world will tell you, like Ed Sequoia is probably the single best futures trader that ever walked the face of the earth. This dude stacked cash. He's eccentric. He's a lot wacky, but he just stacked money. Massive returns in the futures market, and he was a trend follower. And he'd set his prices once a day, and then that was it. He'd go sit in a tree and play guitar or whatever goofy thing he was up to that day. But he made a fortune, and he wasn't sitting in front of the screen all day. And that's the same for the guys I know that have made a lot of money as value investors, and even the momentum investors. They're spending more time on research than they are watching stuff bounce around a screen.
No question.
And we're developing all the tools that you're going to need along with the educational material to help you put this stuff to work. Because at the end of the day, this has to be about making you money, or we're all just wasting our time. And I'm not in the habit of doing that.
Yep. Very, very well said. Very, very well said. All right, Tim, before we get into some of the new stuff that you want to talk about today, thinking about it has been reminding me several times already. Ask Tim about his pick, TCBX. It's had a huge run. Are you still holding for the buyout, and do you have a target price? So it looks like this is one that you had picked a while ago. It has been a winner.
This is Third Coast Bank shares out of Texas. And the reason it's had a huge run is because it was so damn cheap when we started buying it. This is a bank that was started up by a bunch of businessmen in the Houston area back in the aftermath of kind of the great financial crisis and all that mess. They do business-oriented banking, a lot of commercial and industrial, some commercial real estate in the Texas area. I mean, fairly small bank. The stock is up 50% over the last year, and it's still only a $367 market cap. More importantly, it's still only trading at 85% of book value. It's about 13 times earnings, but earnings are growing for a bank ridiculously fast. 75% earnings growth over the last 5 years. Going to be up about 20% this year, and it looks like a good 40% increase over the next year. This is a very well-run little bank. Okay. Yep. It has shot higher over time. just as I kind of thought it would be. But let me let you in on a secret, Ryan. And this is one of those cool secrets. I love the state of Texas, and not just because my wife is from there and I have to by law, but because it's a great state and it's one of the more business oriented states in the country. Okay. And, they've got oil, they've got agriculture, but they've also got technology. You've got all the companies that move from California to Texas, to both ruin and pollute the great state of Texas and to take advantage of the pro-business environment that is there. So you've had, Austin has always been a growing tech area. It's getting bigger, and there's a biotech thing. So Texas is not just cows and oil wells.
Yeah.
It is a very dynamic, business-oriented state. I love investing in banks in Texas. The problem is I'm really strict about investing in banks. I won't pay much over 85% of book value for most banks. I might go to 90 for a really high quality bank. Okay. Unless the only exception to that is if we can get a single digit PE ratio and a yield over 5, we'll buy that. And there has to be lots of capital in other words. So I only get a chance about once every 4 or 5 years to buy a Texas bank. Now, a couple years ago, I got a chance to buy 2. This was one of them. All right. Every single bank I have purchased in Texas for the 35 years that I can remember, I've always sold them via takeover at a huge gain. That's true of business banks. It's true of thrift conversions. It's just true of banks that I bought, at ridiculously low prices during banking crises. Buying Texas banks has been ridiculously profitable. This is a very fast-growing bank coming out of Houston, expanded to Dallas, went into San Antonio. Now they're going to Austin. Somebody's going to buy these guys someday.
Okay. So sorry to answer the question, then you're still holding for the buyout.
Yeah, that was a real long answer to a short question, but yeah, we're holding because it's a really well-run, really good bank.
Okay. Really good stuff. Appreciate you answering that. What do you have? What kind of goodies do you have for us today? You've already given us some. But what else do you have? What new stuff do you have?
Here's some new momentum stuff, and we're just going to throw these out there. They showed up on the screen that I ran last night. Now, these are stocks that have great fundamentals. Business is outstanding. They're growing. They're smaller, and they're starting to attract institutional interest. That's pushing the stock higher up and to the right, nice and smooth. The first one is called Karo, and it's Karo. Now, this company does, and they started out in life, by the way, in South Africa, and very quickly found out that being a South African company and trying to expand internationally has some issues related to the home market. So now they're a Singapore-based company, very fast growing. Stock's doing extremely well. They're in the logistics and basically the logistics and tracking deliveries and tracking fleet and fleet management software. These guys are using artificial intelligence, machine learning. They're tracking a staggering 170 billion data points a month on where locations are, where packages are, and where things are going. It's insane how much data these guys process to improve the management of your fleet. If you're delivering stuff anywhere in the world and delivery trucks and vehicles in your fleet is a significant part, just fractions of improvement in the process make a difference. These guys have over 2 million customers in 23 countries, strong earnings growth. And if you look at it on a chart, KARO, you can see the institutional interest coming into this thing, pushing the stock up and to the right. They announced a stock offering. Nobody cared. It kept going up. They canceled the stock offering because of market conditions, and it just kept going up even more. So you've got institutional buying coming in to this stock. You've got growth. You've got a fantastic story. Anytime you've got this type of growth, a not immoderate valuation, takeover has to be something that is discussed. But as fleet management and expense control becomes more important, this company has a significant advantage and what should be a strong growth curve going forward. So use whatever stop loss formula that you feel necessary to use or elements of market timing, but this stock should be on your momentum list as it's breaking to new highs.
Okay, now I'm glad that you said that there, because when I look at something like this, especially when I look at a daily chart here and I see that the price is this extended from some of the moving averages, my tendency is to want to wait for a pullback to those. But you just hit that this is a momentum stock. So do you do that a little bit differently here?
Oh, yeah.
Or you just manage it with stops? How do you do that calculus?
If you catch, you manage it with stops, because when
Okay.
you're buying momentum, okay, if you catch one of these things, it's a rocket ship. You could, because what'll happen is the moving average will catch up to the price. The price won't come back to the moving average.
Okay.
Okay. And you can see the moving average on this one right here, it's going vertical. Okay, if you look at your little yellow line,
absolutely.
I'm not sure which one that is. But
That's
it's
the
starting
50.
to go vertical. That's like climbing up the top band of the Bollinger Bands. That's a really strong trend signal. So, especially on these smaller ones, you manage it with stops. Maybe you get stopped out 2 or 3 times before you catch the actual launch point. But if you miss the launch point, you've missed it forever.
Okay.
So then the next one up, and this is Sezzle. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's SEZL. They're buy now, pay later, which is it's got a little bit of a sketchy reputation as a business, right? Buy now, pay later. It's
Indeed.
kind of, it's I don't know, layaway on crack. What do you want to call it? But these guys are the massive player in this thing. Okay. When you go onto Amazon and you see pay for this in 4 easy installments, or on Walmart, or they do business with DoorDash. Now, I don't want to know anything about the person that is doing their grocery order or their McDonald's order in 4 easy payments, but it's available.
Me either, man. That scares me.
I mean, if you got to have those Big Macs, to wear off that hangover right now, and you've only got 2 quarters left, so you need 4 easy payments. Okay, I'm not gonna judge out loud. So but it's available. But these guys are the monster in buy now, pay later. So Amazon, Walmart, all of these companies are customers. 70% plus return on equity, rapid earnings growth, and you can see the institutional capital starting to come in to the stock, producing that up and to the right momentum that we like to see. And just pulling this up, you can see that this momentum is tight, right? You had the breakout back here in August. That's earnings driven, but you're not seeing a lot of this up and down, back and forth. It's story or rumor driven. This is just steady buying pressure coming into the stock, because absolutely a great story. Stock is going up. It's a momentum story, but this is a fantastic growth story. Buy now, pay later is only 2% of the U.S. marketplace. Okay, for financing stuff. It's going to grow. This company's probably going to grow 35-40% a year if you look at the internal management estimates. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with this company. And I think it just gets better from here. So again, you're going to want to use pretty tight stop management, common sense. But this is a stock that looks like it wants to launch into one of the better momentum stories.
Okay. Thinking about it's asking, isn't Affirmed the monster in the buy now, pay later space? We do talk about Affirmed here quite a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Walmart and Target and that buy now for all 4 easy installments, that's going to put them in a huge position. So they're one of the 2 monsters.
Okay. Got another one for us?
Yeah, let's look at Comstock Holdings, CHCI, in they're a real estate operator out of Washington, D.C. They help their clients find buildings, and they do residential, they do office, they do mixed-use commercial, trophy properties all over the Washington, D.C. area. They're building the first JW Marriott residences in the area, and they're already pre-selling the condos. So they find them. They invest alongside them, and their clients are people like Apollo, Blackstone, Jones Lang LaSalle, Berkadia, Cushman Wakefield, all the big players in real estate. So they find the buildings for them, they operate them, they manage them, so they're taking fees and participating in the upside. The stock is deeply undervalued on the cash flows that the business is producing right now. Washington, D.C. is a unique real estate market because of the strong government presence, right? You've got government employees, you've got appointeds, you've got the bureaucracy employees that never go away. The appointeds replace every 4 to 8 years, so you always have demand. There's always apartment and retail absorption. So these guys are running 93% leased on their commercial and office space, 97% on residential. So their buildings are full, rents are getting collected, cash flow is being produced. Great, way off the radar story. Stock could easily double from here. And if you care about such things, that's almost a textbook cup and long-term cup and handle.
Yep. I was just thinking that the chart here looks pretty good on CHCI.
So that's kind of the three that I bought you. I'm going to throw one other one out.
Sure.
You know, take a look on this because this is just an interesting company, right? This is not an exciting business. Maryvale Engineering is the name of this company.
What's the ticker?
MEC is the ticker on this one. They're in the fabrication business. They make and bend metal stuff for tractors, military vehicles, commercial vehicles, jet skis, boats, construction equipment. And they just make money year in, year out. They're a leader in the business. They're in Maryvale, Wisconsin, strategically located on your manufacturing and your shipping points. Yeah. Great management. Management owns a bit of stock. They've been in their key markets for a long time, and they're doing business, you know, Volvo trucks, Harley Davidson, Polaris, Kawasaki, Caterpillar, John Deere, CNH Industrial. You know, I talked about that one of my favorite stocks. Mm-hmm. Love that stock, by the way. The military, you know, with Oshkosh and the United States government. So they're like this major part of the supply chain for the original equipment manufacturers making and bending metal stuff. So not at the top of anybody's super exciting list. Yeah. You're not going to dream about it while you're taking your nap during the Fed meeting today. But it is a great company that slowly but surely, and again, if you take a look, there's not a lot of wild swings in there, just some jumps around earnings announcements, but steady, slow, smooth, up into the right momentum. So is this stock going to go to 400? I would say no, except, you know, we bought LMB Holdings last year, which is in building management. And because it had momentum and it had fundamental momentum, and it's the last stock that I would have told you was going to be a 7-bagger. It's a 7-bagger.
Yeah, it is.
So, you know, you get things right. You're earning a really, you know, decent returns on capital, lots of room for improvement, steady businesses. And the military part of this business, by the way, has the capacity to be enormous because, like it or not, the world is becoming a much more dangerous place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
right.
supply chain issues could help lift this one if we're looking less towards manufacturing from overseas and more domestically.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's something where you have to look at a lot of OEM suppliers now because, and I don't even, yes, there's going to be a difference in how rapidly this happens based on who occupies 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But you have to understand that a lot of our supply chains in things like tractors, military equipment, construction equipment, it's not we want them to come home. They have to come home for national security reasons. So yes, that's an excellent point. Thank you for bringing it up. And, you know, you can kind of see that that's starting to be one of the drivers because you are seeing institutional money come in and just push this stock steady higher.
Gotcha. I had one other question about, I think it was Karoo. That was the logistical one in Africa, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So been noticing a lot of emerging market logistical and logistical park plays coming up and getting a bit of a lift. And I'm thinking that this is going to be a trend that's going to be ongoing as the world tries to decouple from the majority of products coming out of China and starts to diversify around Southeast Asia, Australia, Mexico, South America, things like that, and Africa. So wondering if we're seeing, if there's any more of those that you're seeing that have the logistical supply park, you know, as part of their stock portfolio, or is their stock, Which ones are you thinking of that could end up?
This is the only one on any of my radar screens right now, but that is a sharp observation. So there's probably a lot of validity to it. And look, we're starting to get pretty bullish on emerging markets just because. And remember now, these guys did transfer to Singapore.
Yeah.
To get South Africa out of their home country thing. Because look, South Africa is not a popular country in large parts of the world for lots and lots of reasons. And there is some instability in all of Africa. So Singapore, you don't get any more stable than Singapore, because if you become unstable, they beat you with canes. So, so Singapore's maybe a little more acceptable business address for a logistics company. But yes, we are seeing people diversify away from China. You're seeing probably some impact of a declining dollar, which as we lower rates will continue to decline, which is going to be good for emerging markets and emerging market stocks. So we're much more bullish on emerging market income at the moment, but emerging market stocks are probably not too far behind that in total return potential going forward. But great observation on the logistics, because I hadn't noticed it yet in any of my screens.
I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you so much.
That's why we have 13 on here. He is a sharp dude, and he does know logistics pretty well. Okay, I find this comment really hilarious. We'll get you out of here in a sec here, Tim. Motion is asking, does Tim have any long-term stock recommendations?
No,
this is absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, this is absolutely hilarious, because that is exactly what his MO is, and you caught him on a day where he came with momentum stocks. I'll go ahead and post a link to a webinar. You can learn more about Tim's products. That's all Tim does. We've been giving them out for weeks. Keep joining us on Wednesday's Motion, and we'll get that for you.
Let's throw two out just so they have them. Okay. CNH Industrial, we talked about that, and Mosaic, and it's long-term, guys. These are both agricultural companies. If you look at the commodities, this is where trend following makes you a better investor. Okay. If you look at grains, 2-year bear market, I mean, it's the definition of ugly. It's bad. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor for ugly, and none of them are appropriate. So just grains have been terrible, but they're starting to turn, right? They're deeply oversold on the longer term charts. And I look at no daily charts. That's just noise to me. So CNH Industrial, symbol CNH, 4% dividend. They're buying back stock. They're globally dominant, along with John Deere, in agricultural heavy equipment. And then Mosaic, MOS. China and India both have been trying to figure out the farming and improving yields. Come to find out, they've done a really poor job of fertilizing and applying phosphate in both nations to their farmland. They're like way undertreated. So they're going to have to be massive applications of phosphate and fertilizer in two of the largest, fastest growing nations in the world. If they want to eat, they got to do it. Mosaic is in a unique position to be one of the companies that meets that demand. Also, that demand will generally raise global pricing. You got a great dividend. You got a very shareholder friendly buyback policy. You've got a stock trading at very low multiples of earnings and cash flows with massive long-term potential. When that trend in ags finally changes, it's going to stay changed for a very long time. And these two stocks will do very well because of it.
Okay, there you go. So even on Momentum Day, Tim is going to give you some long-term pick. Tim, we can't thank you enough. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Okay, boss?
All right, guys, enjoy the Fed announcements, and please just take a nap. Resist. Have a good day, everybody.
You got it. Take care, Tim. He is, I swear, 13, every time we bring him on, I get new laughs every single time. He is something else.
He's fun.
Yeah, he is fun. And like I said, we are going to do more of that. Guys, I was also just talking about the podcast there. I am definitely going to be starting one up. I've got a couple of friends that are interested. I'd like to know feedback from you guys on what you'd like to hear. Stocks and finance will definitely be a part of it, but make no mistake, so too will politics. And if you are sensitive to hearing different political opinions than your own, I don't know if you're going to like that very much. Sports, jokes, culture happening, politics, finance, stocks. That's going to be That's going to be what I'm kind of going after. So if you folks are interested in that, shoot me an email. Tell me what you want to hear. Guests, the whole 9 yards. I definitely look forward to starting that. Okay, now really quick. While we were having that interview, guess what? The big stock, the wild one is just. It ended up giving us a move, and it looks like it's trying to go higher here. So 13. What else did I miss?
You missed APTL that popped up to 841.
Boom.
That despite the float, it's still making its way up slowly, if at all. But let's see, there was another one that had some movement. BBLG was trying to get over its VWAP while Tim was talking. It finally did, but after it ran right back up to the intraday high at 234, it came right back in and knifed down. It looks like this is also going lower now that's under VWAP. Other stuff that happened, I don't think there was. I had a whole lot of. I mean, Lunar is now taken off, and
let's take a look at that.
It's going to probably hit 9 here pretty soon. It's just got to make its way past 888, which is the pre-market high. After hours high yesterday was 920. So those are the next two levels for Lunar.
Boom. There we go. Okay. Real quick. I'm your political liaison. You can help me get guests for politic purposes, Born. Oh, that is going to be sweet. Carmen saying, how will I know? I will tell you. John, will I have to hear about the Bears? Yes, I am a massive Bears fan. You will absolutely be hearing about that and other NFL and other sports happenings. Yes, 100% confirmed. So, okay. Really, really good stuff here. I actually did scalp that PRTG, so I've got one trade under my belt, but it's not huge. We're doing okay. We're doing okay so far. Let's see what else we've got rolling on here. VIX above 19 again. Palantir still looking for that 3650 breakout. I'm looking for 45 on Palantir by December for that butterfly to really start paying. Should be able to get that.
Lunar just took out a big old wall at 980. I'm sorry, 890. Wrong numbers. 890 popped up a couple cents and then it came back in. Still looking for 9 on this one.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there. Really, really good stuff there. Really, really good stuff there.
Bitcoin's trying to find a bottom here. It got down to 59,300.
Oh, that reminds me. Thank you for reminding me, 13. Grouch, you were asking earlier. Yeah, I'm not going to ask Tim about a Bitcoin ETF. There's no way. I mean, I'm sure he'd have a pretty good joke about it, but I don't suspect that he would like that. The reason that I was trying to tie that is because Tim will often give stocks that pay dividends. So if dividends are part of your investment strategy, you're really going to like Tim. Again, today was a momentum day, which is why we were looking at the stocks that appeared to be extended and all of that. I mean, that's what momentum trading is. It's different than what he normally does. He does a really good job of trying to give us a variety of different things to look at. So keep sticking around. You will get some massive dividend plays for him. He's not a Bitcoin guy, though.
If you're playing the Bitcoin names like Mara, CLSK, and that ilk, look at what Bitcoin's doing. We're starting to get a bit of a curl here and recapture of the 59,500 level. We're actually really getting some good movement here. I'm expecting to see these Bitcoin stocks also move the same. We could get, if we continue to get this movement out of Bitcoin, they're going to do the same. So if you're looking for a trade, could be getting something going here with these Bitcoin names soon.
Okay, awesome. Apple at the highs here. You see Mara, as we were talking about Bitcoin, Mara popping to its new high of day here today, holding above 16. We'll see where we go on that one. 13, I'm going to drop for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Looks like Lunar got as high as 895 before started to put in a bit of a upper shadow here, going a little bit lower, getting pushed down as well. Let's see where the support is. I think that the support would be right about where we're at now. So we'll see how much more this gets beaten up. Maybe it goes down to 850. We'll have to wait and see. Soundhound AI. Oh, is that one back? This thing is so funny. Soundhound is back, up to 508 now. Just steadily been moving up all morning. Have a resistance level. Looks like there's a lot of resistance at 520 right now, even though 515 seems to be my next upside target here for this one. 515 and 520 should be getting some resistance here, especially after this big move. Be careful with Soundhound. I expect there be some pullback Some small pullback. Look what it's done all day. Up, pullback, up, pullback, up, pullback. Now we have up. Probably going to get pullback. So let's see what happens there.
I am back. Oh, you said pullback. Okay.
We're talking about Soundhound. That thing has been.
What's it doing?
It's moving up. It's turning up the sound.
Oh, we were getting turned up, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's going to 11. Well, not really. It's actually at 508. BBLG still looking to recapture VWAP. APLT still hanging out around 8. VVPR does not look good.
You said VVPR?
VVPR does not look good. That's,
okay.
Looks like it's trying to get back above 140. Not sure it's going to get that recapture quite yet.
This looks weak to me.
Yeah, it does. Same thing with NVVE. This one looks like it's also going to head lower.
Let me just roll through here real quick. Omex. So this is that one that looked like it was dead cat bouncing earlier. You know, the price action here actually looks pretty decent. That volume kind of compressing has me a little weary on this. I'd probably stay away from this myself. It is moving though. PRTG, what was going on with that? I saw it pop on the scanner and then pop off. We're still holding above 14. This has been pretty good. This might not be over today. I'm going to keep watching this one when I have time in between my meetings here. VEEA can't get above the VWAP. There's no change there until that can do that. Lunar's doing a good job here. NVVE, same deal. Really can't get above the VWAP.
Yeah, it looks like somewhere around 1450 is just putting the resistance on with PRTG. You look at this is pre-market. You look at the pre-market and how after we popped to 21. The subsequent price action was getting support from 1450 before it fell through. Now that's a resistance spot, which is why we're getting the resistance here at that very same level. So I think once 1450 falls, we could end up pushing up higher with PRTG.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, that action has kind of been there all day, right? Like it's tried to push up, been unable to get over a level, pulls back a little bit. It's thin, so it moves pretty good, and then bang, right through it. We'll see if we end up getting that 1450 here. I got no position on this one out of the scalp earlier. It was a small one. It was what? It was 200 shares total on that.
Brittany is asking about Omex. This is Odyssey Marine Exploration Incorporated.
Yeah, and we looked yesterday and I didn't see what was going on here. I guess I could read this now.
Well, it's kind of interesting because the formation that we have here looks a little bit like a bull flag that's trying to resolve. And if we do get a resolution out of this, then we're going to be moving up past 148, which is the intraday high. How high this goes, not sure, but I would think that if we continue with that momentum, we could maybe go high almost to 2. That would be my thought in Omex.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you what, just looking at this action here, 13, it looks like a 140 move. We do go higher here. This one looks all right.
Soundhound went up a little bit more to 510 and it came right back down to 5. A little bit of a resistance there around the 510. Looks like Lunar trying to decide if it's going to get over 9 or not. Getting some support, closer to 850 when it falls. But okay, here we go. Now we're starting to get the push
And
up.
by the way, Lunar still higher short percent of float reading from the last time from the update. That was as of September 11th. So that short interest continues to grow here. I'd be interested to see what happens now that they have this contract out there. Maybe get more of a squeeze. Let's see if we take 9 out.
Yep. Certainly trying to make its way up there to do so.
Apple's still at the highs.
You said that the short interest is still growing. I see that it's at
it crept up,
38%. Average volume in a day means it's going to cover in one day. I mean, it could, but because look at the session volume, 78 million today, and that was. Just looking at that was that's much more than the average 10-day volume. So any short squeezes happening here with the Lunar
1 second
covered the same day. Multi-day run, maybe. All right. Soundhound trying to recover back up to 505.
Well, I had all my windows open this morning because it's really nice here in the Chicagoland area, and I forgot to turn my air conditioning off. And as we've heated up now, air conditioning kicked on with the windows open, and I'm basically wasting energy, so I had to go rectify that. Apologies, 13.
That's okay. So asking S&T Vlogs asking is 1190 a good target for Lunar? I mean, I think you're basing that off of the price action we had in February. We're still trying to work our way through the 2023 consolidation. But once we get over 10, then I could probably give you a better opinion on where we're headed. I don't think that's a bad price target. I just can't say for sure if that's where we're going to end up. It could end up going higher than that. It might not get up there quite yet. I couldn't tell you right now. And someone thinking about it says this is going to be a multi-day runner. If that's the case, then sure, I could see 1190. But I at this point, I'm not sure. I think it might need to cool off just because it's very extended. You just got to look at the RSI. So maybe it gets there at some point, but I don't know about this week. I couldn't.
Yeah, I would say with the volume that we've had here recently, now with the catalyst, I could see this being a multi-day runner. And Fairchild here say cooling the outdoors. This is hilarious because growing up as a kid, this is something my late father would say all the time. When we would turn the air conditioning on and make sure all the windows are closed. Be like, we don't want to cool the outdoors. I thought he was the only one that said that, but Fairchild, that's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that bit of nostalgia right there. Okay. What else do we got? Oh, PRTG. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This one. If it was not as thin as it was, might have been considering adding a little bit more and then holding a trailer and scaling in and scaling out. But with it being as thin as it was, as soon as you get to a couple $100 there, you just take it.
It wants 15. There it goes.
Sure does. There it goes. Look at that pop above 15. Here we go. PRTG. They're not holding it there.
This is going to halt. Not yet, but it keeps doing this, it's going to halt.
If that volume keeps pushing, yes, it is. Yeah. Here we go. 1564. They're going to hold it right here.
There it is. And nope.
They didn't. They did not halt it right there.
It was looking like it for a second there. You know
what's crazy now too is because now they've reset the timer. So we had that big move up. We didn't get halted. The timer's now reset. I mean, you could get some more fireworks here.
Yeah, I think 1650 is still possible at this point. And we're now into the 16 handle. Let's see 1650, folks.
Let's see if this 1612 gets broken here. They just ran up to it there. We'll see.
Here come the sellers. Nope.
Right through. There's 1650. I think you're going to get it, 13.
Yep. This is fun to watch.
It sure is. And we're kind of getting that expanding volume here. I do think this is going to dry up at some point, but wow, that was good. We really kind of caught that right there.
Yeah, I didn't catch the whole move, but
that was sweet.
Nice little scalp there.
Yeah, Carmen. So this is funny too. So man, no AC when I was growing up. So what's funny about that? Living in Chicago, I was fortunate that I always had AC as a kid. But we would make, as I've mentioned before, we'd make a number of different vacations up to Door County, Wisconsin. And the house that we would rent did not have AC. And there were a couple of days where maybe it got a little sticky and a little uncomfortable. And my dad would say the same thing: just go jump in the lake. It's the big air conditioner that's sitting right outside. And this worked. This is exactly what we did as kids. There was a creek not far from the house. There was a lake out there. Man, nostalgic vibes here this morning. I will take that any day. You folks are great.
Excellent, Robert. Great job. Thinking about it, also mentioning ZVRA. I thought I had that one up here.
Dude, Robert, let's go. 4+ points in PRTG. Have yourself a day. Get yourself a steak for dinner.
There's 1650 in PRTG and more.
See if we get above 17 here.
It's almost there. Almost there.
Just hold them off for a few seconds. Here we go. It's coming back in. See if we 1682 your high print. Stock should be right back on here. We'll see.
And this is what we were just talking about with that resistance from pre-market. We're at BOP 21 and it came down. This was the resistance level. That's the kind of volume you need to get through it. Do we get to 21?
Is it going to be a repeat of GLMD in PRTG? I'm surprised I didn't screw that one up. I'll be honest.
Let me see here. I don't know that it's going to be a GLMD, but it doesn't hurt to look and figure out if it could be.
Nope, doesn't hurt to plan. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. That's always my motto.
Yep. Okay, so we're well past 1450. So let's look at some other ones here.
Oh, they brought in a bid there at 1640. That chased the price higher here. Let's see if we take a new high of day here on PRTG. It's trying.
Okay, this may end up going to 18.
18. Okay, there you go.
That would be
high side stacked, says Fairchild. All right, here we go. Let's see if we push here. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, 18 would be the next upside level that I have. So let's see.
This is wild. You don't even need a lot of this for this to work. I don't recommend stocks that are this thin, and don't necessarily recommend taking a lot. Let's see if we pop above 17 here.
Looks like Lunar's still trying to set up to
RFID says, guys, keep talking. I think you're making it go higher. Where do I send the check?
Well,
I look, if we had that kind of pull, I'd love that, but I'm not sure that we do. Let's see if we pop above 17 here. PRTG. We caught ourselves a winner 2 days in a row here.
Yeah, we touched. We almost touched the 17. 2 cents short of it. Let's see what it does. Doesn't have too far to go.
Oh, man. And this is all before the Fed. Think about that, folks. This is all before the Fed. Things could get more wild here. You can believe that.
I might have to stay in my chair a little bit longer. All right, let's take a look at a quick spy, see what they're doing. Not a whole lot. Not as much as PRTG is.
No, PRTG is the move here today. This is the move here.
I have to go and look at.
We're going to chase higher here. Let's look for a 17 break. There is some stock there at 17. Doesn't look like a whole lot. They're deleted. Absolutely deleted, and higher we go. Absolutely deleted.
Here comes 18.
Oh, man.
18 is the 65 EMA on the weekly.
I'll tell you what, I have just a little piece here. I'm going to put my order out there at 1769 for the lulls. We'll see if we get it. Live trading moves markets, Ryan 13 and the Duke brothers. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Let's see where we go here on PRTG. By the way, as we're talking here, for those of you that are watching, Palantir continuing to do the thing, grinding higher here now, 36.69. We'll see if we can continue to move higher here on Palantir. Also, it'll be interesting to see how some of these other stocks react when we actually get the Fed decision here. Let me go back to PRTG, though. That's where it is. Up, up, up. Did I almost get it? And it's still not quite filled there. We'll see if we can get this. 1769 is my exit price. I am on the offer.
Oh, dang. Man, you came within 2 cents of your.
I know, but we're gonna be paid. This thing has been all over the place, right? Back and forth, all over the place. The momentum looks really, really strong in this name. We'll wait it out. Thankfully, we've already got the main trade booked. This rest of this is just gravy. Lion Atlas, we suspect that the big reason that this stock is moving is because of its share structure, right? This is another micro float under 1 million shares. This is exactly what we saw yesterday in GLMD. We're seeing it again here in PRTG. And you know what else, 13? When we get on happy hour later today, one of the things we need to do is mention this because, like I said, we left yesterday's show saying, hey, there might be another low float runner tomorrow. And guess what? That's exactly what we've got here.
Yeah. It's just another one of those stocks that regain compliance. So just
and reverse split.
And reverse split. It's silly, but it's working.
Hey, RFID trader reminding us the lotto ticket is ticking up here, 113. What's my price on this MCRB stuff? 98 cents. So up here a little bit on that lotto ticket.
Rustam, do not be sad. There are going to be plenty more of these that we'll capture in the future. We've seen so many of these happen throughout the time that we've been trading, and that's just this year alone. We've seen multiple, 100%ers. We'll find some more. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and I think one of the other important things there is that, like, when you start, especially when we do this as a group, this is another reason why I like to flip around a lot. But when we start locking in on one stock as a group, especially if that stock starts to go ham, that FOMO feeling that Rustam is describing is not at all unique. Like I still battle that to this day. So 13, I think those are really good words of wisdom there. Don't give in to the FOMO. Wait and be patient, because you will get another opportunity.
BBLG might be giving an opportunity here, trying to recapture VWAP.
Hey, Big B's out. Guess what? You'll get the sounds for that. 100% gainer on the Apple calls there. Way to go. Apple at the highs here. There we go. And out. Filled at 1769. Nice. Watch this thing go much higher here. Nice little day here with very few shares. PRTG, really good stuff.
If this is going to go higher, I think it'd be after a pullback once it hits 18 or gets close to 18. I think that's there'll be a brief cooling period, and then it could end up going higher afterwards.
By the way, here's your Apple chart. As you can see, that is pushing up here. This actually looks fairly familiar to the Palantir chart. Intraday chart, right? Look kind of similar there. Both those stocks sitting up here at their highs. But let me go back to PRTG. There's 18, 13 with another great call here. I tried to front run that a little bit, but a really good call.
Hope y'all made some money on that one. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Now, if I did get a question here, what's the a good entry to on a pullback? So, trade at your own risk. But if you're going to, what I would be looking at is if I thought there was still going to be some further upside following a pullback, I'd be looking at 15 and VWAP as potential entry spots. 15 now, that is a resistance level that has turned into support. Oh wow, it's got up to 19.
Oh, here
now.
we go. All I had to do was get out of it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not even pissed. Honestly, I'm not even pissed. I did pretty well on this one here today, and I did not use a lot of capital at all.
Maybe it goes to 21. Maybe it goes to 21 at this point.
First buy here was at $12. We're talking about this at 19. Good stuff here. Yes, RFID. I am all out right now.
But yeah, I'd be reluctant to actually give you a specific level of where you should be getting into, because depending on how high this goes, that might provide some different levels. Like at this point, it's starting to look like you might get some support from around 1750. Don't know that you will, but let this thing trade out and then see where it starts to trade down to, and then just wait for that bottoming action to start to take shape, and then you might have a better opportunity to get in at a better level that's going to provide some gains. At this point, though, I'd be a little bit more reluctant to trade this, because I think this could have been the move. But, it can come back later on in the day.
Yeah, and full disclosure, 13, that second trade, I was a little reluctant to do that too. But hey, it worked. We did it worked, and it worked, and it just added profits to it. So really good stuff there. Okay, this is great. We've had a nice little active day here ahead of the Fed. We're still going to have the main event coming here at 2 p.m. Eastern. So get ready for that. Really good stuff here from the group. Just really good interactions here today. Tim Melvin was great, as he normally is. You folks are all awesome. Sounds like the chat's banking.
Yep. Soundhound, also keep your eye on that. That looks like it wants to go and take out 510. It's just the way it's kind of setting up. It might be rolling over, but if it looks like it's starting to build some volume, I think it's going to come up and destroy and take out the 510 and go higher. So just watch for that volume to build.
There we go on sound. Also, there's another mention here in the chat. Where was that? MSTR, no. PayPal, no. There was another one. Oh, SMCI. Edward. There we go. We haven't looked at SMCI today. We did look at NVIDIA earlier. SMCI had a nice little move out of the open, but this is pretty much just up 2% here. Below the VWAP. How does the rest of tech look? Apple looks the strongest. How does NVIDIA is actually red. Interesting. Maybe we're seeing a rotation out of that finally. Tesla's kind of flat. How about Microsoft? Microsoft a little bit lower. AMD.
Supermicro never released their annual report today after that Monday news, right?
Didn't they say they were going to do that yesterday?
WCCF Tech was saying that they are likely to disclose their annual report today. That was Monday. So I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So I still think that once that comes out, we're probably going to end up seeing the price shoot back up to the 50-day SMA. That's what I'm looking for right now in SMCI.
Real quickly here, there is no try. Says just found you guys yesterday. Feed me more. Let me tell you, your timing is pretty awesome. I would just stroll down to the local gas station, maybe get yourself a Mega Millions or Powerball ticket, because you might have some pretty good luck. You found us yesterday when we gave you GLMD, and then we repeated here today with PRTG. Really good timing. There is no try. Also, you'll get tons of bonus points for having a Star Wars themed handle. And Chewbacca approves of you, boss. Good to have you here. Hope to see you keep coming back.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of weakness in PRTG, which is what we were looking for after this, nice run that it had over the past 15, 20 minutes. So if we start to come back in here, don't get excited about, where the level is you want to get into this. Keep in mind that this could be the move for the day. It might not be, but I wouldn't want to jump right back into this until I was sure that we were putting in we're putting a bottom from the cooling off that we're about to get.
Well said. Frankly, I'd like this to actually yank and shake out some of the people that are still in it. Generally speaking, when I'm scalping or something like that, that's what I really want to see out of some of these. Like, really, just kind of shake some of it out, right? Let's get some of that out there. Get some of those weaker hands out there. Well, that would actually help us here. PRTG. Mike, good morning. Good morning, Mike. It's good to see you. We were wondering about you. We were saying, hey, someone do a wellness check on Mike. We don't see him here. Hopefully everything's going well, my man.
ASTS red to green. That's interesting.
Yeah, let me bring that up. Thank you, Jay. Yep. Oops,
daily chart.
This chart.
Daily chart still looks like there may be some more downside head. I'd like to see the price get back above 30, and then I'd be a little bit more bullish. Right now, it is still trading beneath the 20-day SMA. And it's been getting rejected there too. So until it recaptures that, downside is what I have on the mind for ASTS. It needs to get back above that moving average, in my opinion.
Oh, Crassy. Mike. Guess what day it is? The hump day camel from
That's
the commercial.
Great.
Crassy, you never disappoint. Ever. Like ever. Awesome stuff.
Vivos is trying to recapture VWAP. Might get going here if we get a close above that. Lunar also trying to come up its VWAP. Not looking like it has as much strength as Vivos does.
HB saying pretty nice trading day. Extra sleep helps. This is funny because not yesterday, but the day before, I was sitting in my bed. I was watching TV. I was actually watching the football game, and I was also watching a podcast. And I just kind of laid my head back, and I just fell asleep. Missed the end of the football game. Had to go back and watch highlights. Woke up. Lights were on. Everything was on. I was like, oh man, I just needed to go to sleep. Getting that extra sleep does, in fact, help.
There goes Vivos.
Yes, Amanda, we do have triple witching on Friday. Yes, That is this Friday. And Vivos did go.
Yep. If we get more upside movement here out of Vivos, 410 seems to be the next. Well, that's the intraday high, and then you have I guess we'll just call it 420 is the pre-market high. So those would be the next two levels to get through in Vivos in order for it to go higher. Looks like BBLG also trying to get above VWAP. Currently getting rejected, but it's slightly above it. It's putting in an upper shadow here. Let's see if we can get some more volume expansion in BBLG. That'll take us back up to 234, where it's been getting rejected. Enough volume should take us higher than that, though.
Lion, take care of yourself. Guess what? We've got 20 prints coming. PRTG. 20 prints. Pulled off that 20 spot.
Jeez, PRTG.
I'm not in this. Just to be clear, I am not in this. All out PRTG.
Yeah.
All out.
Yeah, I am not either.
RFID says, why can't I get myself to sell it? Well, because it's literally ripping and you continue to see your P&L go up. You were just telling me to buy a few after I'd already made 2 successful trades on it. So that all fits together. Be sure you get your gains booked at some point. Trailing stops actually work pretty well here if you have an emotional attachment to it. And we're through 20.
21 is on deck.
2081. Mike's giving you 2081.
Watch it just shoot up into that area and just halt. Yeah, PRTG, it's crazy. It's today's GLMD.
I look 2 days in a row. I can't believe we talked about. In fact, let me see if the happy hour chat is talking about this.
350%. No, they're not. They're not talking about
Here,
it.
I'm gonna do it here. You guys can all watch.
You shake that hornet's nest, buddy. Andy, guess what? Our conversation was relevant. All right, watch Soundhound. We're starting to get that movement.
Oh my God! Here's the slap. Here's the. Did we print that number, Mike? I swear to God, Mike. 2069, 2060. So we almost printed the 2081 spot that you gave us exactly. Almost exactly 2069. Mike, I'm gonna need you to tighten that up a little bit. Okay, you were off by 12 cents here.
Yeah, that
amazing
totally
call, Mike. Amazing.
That totally screwed up my sell order. No, I'm just kidding.
Here. Hang on. I got to make sure I play the right one. Here we go.
No,
that's just for you, 13. That's just for you. And look, we popped above. It's not done. 21.
Now we can sell.
Yeah. RFID, just to answer your question from before, I think you can sell this now. We were buying this in the 12s, folks. We almost have a double on our hands. 100% Ripper intraday PRTG.
All right. If this keeps going, I got to look for the next levels. This is crazy.
This is crazy. Well, you better do it fast because pretty soon we have XIII coming on. They're going to turn it over to story trading here. So we better do this fast if you want to get those levels out there.
30. That's
Dudes,
the next one
I'm
I have.
screaming here. I love you guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the next EMA I have that's in the way of upside is it's 29.96. I'm just going to say 30.
Anthony, fight that FOMO, boss. We'll get you another one. We will get you another one.
Don't get that FOMO.
Nicholas,
is going to get your account.
I appreciate this. Look at this question from Nicholas. What happened today to the big rocket stock you traded yesterday? Let's do this. This is what happened. It got absolutely effing destroyed. So again, when we're just trading some of this stuff that's really just kind of ripping around, it is extremely important that you take gains at some point. Please don't be the person that holds this thinking you're going to get a double again, only to have the stock cut in half the next day. Nicholas, this is really good. I'm glad that you brought this up because we've been awfully excited here. We didn't even look at this. Make sure you get your gains booked. Good stuff, Nicholas. I appreciate that.
What HB? What's wrong? What did I say? Still watching for Soundhound to make that move. BBLG still trying to get
guys, 22 now.
Is it really nice?
Yeah, it is. 22 and a half. Trim.
22. Yep.
HB call for 29. Man, oh man.
Well, almost to 23. I mean, this is going to be silly. It is right.
It's going to be.
It's going to be. Well, yes.
It already is. We were silly when we went to like 15, 16.
Okay, so let me just say that there is always this possibility that we were going to come back up to the after hours or pre-market high. There's always that possibility to be crazy. So that wasn't the surprising part.
Okay, I'll give you that. You know what?
You're right. Yeah, the surprising part to me is that the next EMA actually is up at 30, and we may actually get there. That's what's surprising. Okay. And we're getting a hell of a scallop here. So
it's almost time for XIII, though, folks. It's almost time for XIII.
You know, I know you like me, but like when you say like that, it's like XIII's coming. Watch out.
Well, because you're about to take our fun away.
Yeah, XIII, are you seeing? Are you seeing what we have been doing here? Look at this stock.
It's parabolic.
We were buying this in the 12s.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Who had the courage to hold it? Because I never have the courage. to hold it.
I was just
One
doing
person.
scalping. Yep.
Out yourself, chat. Who did it?
Who did it? Who had the courage to hold on to this stock, ripping?
It was. I know there was one person asking or saying something like, "I don't want to sell yet." And I was like, "Well, take these gains while you can."
RFID is saying, Ryan, buddy, when I go to Chicago, can I treat you to lunch? Yes. You can always get
they'll
me
accept
food.
that all
Yes.
day.
That's not a problem. All right, Zunaid,
I love it.
we have massive stuff going on. What do you have going on here?
Yeah, we've got story trading coming up here in a couple of minutes, and then of course after that we've got Mango RX with an all access at 11:30. So Ryan, 13, any final words from you?
Hey, the Feds, it's Fed day today. Get ready. Tim Melvin, remember his recommendation earlier was have a drink. Drink it too. Anyway, watch the Fed. Be careful. Be ready for it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
And-
speaking of the Fed, we will have a live stream. Go ahead, 13.
I got to tell you, everybody. I know that we talked a lot about FOMO and missing some of these runners. Don't stay disciplined. Don't get that fear. Don't ruin your account. It's great that we have these, but there'll be more in the future. We'll get set up for them and we'll make profit there. Don't chase these stocks. I'll see you tomorrow.
And I put the link in the chat. C13. See you, Ryan. Put the link in the chat if you guys want to watch the Fed Chair Powell FOMC decision with us. You're welcome to. We'll kind of kick it in the background, see what's going on. Let me go ahead and get a thumbs up from Ben when you're ready. All righty, perfect. What is going on, my man? How you doing?
How you doing? Doing great. We are absolutely on a tear the last 2 weeks. Got some data from my partner Rhett to put together on our top picks. It's been going insane. Those guys before me, they're doing great with those low float reverse splits, up listings. You know, that's good stuff. We don't do that though. We don't do that at Story Trading because we like to look at stocks that have catalysts that impact fundamentals positively or a catalyst that impact sentiment positively. So that's how we do it at Story Trading, and we've been on absolute tear. Real excited to share some additional names with you before the craziness of FOMC this afternoon.
Yeah, Ryan and 13 are really good at finding those stocks that, you know, they're good at putting out the levels and why it's moving.
Tempting.
But of course, making sure that, hey, it's a day trade, and they make sure they
It's absolutely
do a great job of explaining that to the viewers as well. Rhett, Godfather, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to be brought on as well. I see one, I see two. What is going on? Good morning to you both. Let me put up Ben's stream.
Good morning.
For his charts.
Morning.
All right, that was all yours. I'll be back around 11:30.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Sounds good. Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing?
Morning. Having a great morning, Ben. How about yourself?
Doing great. Can't wait to dig into some of these charts. But first, for those of you who are new to story trading, just want to give a little overview about how we pick stocks, and then Rhett's going to give a little update on how we've done the last few weeks. So again, as I was just telling Zunaid, we have 4 pillars. It's catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals. So we actually start with the catalyst. We don't start with the technicals. We start with the catalyst. We interpret the impact of the catalyst on sentiment, the impact of the catalyst on fundamentals. If they all check out, then we look at the chart, we look at the technicals, and we come up with the price plan. Zunaid, what's up?
Your chart's not showing. I think it might be because of your internet, because your camera is also lagging a little bit. So if you want, try to unshare, reshare, and if that doesn't work, Rhett, Godfather, one of you may have to share your screen for today's show. But just a heads up, yours was not showing. We could give it a shot one more time.
Okay, so if one of you can pull up your chart software, I'll just tell you when I'm ready to
All
talk
right, let me
about
try
it.
one more time with yours here.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, it's working now. I'll be in the back in case it falters, but Rhett, Godfather, if you could be ready with your charts just in case. But for now, Ben, it's all you. You're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've had some weird technical glitches with my computer lately. So that's how we do it, right? Catalyst, how's it impact? Catalyst impact sentiment, fundamentals. Then we look at the technicals and we come up with trade ideas. There are 4 pillar trade ideas, we call them. We put them in our chat room in Discord. And we've had like crazy success in the past month with Summit Therapeutics, SMMT. Here's the daily charts on here. We're in it at the very beginning, before a technical breakout, because we understood the impact of the catalyst. Same with PLCE, in it at the very beginning, before the technical breakouts. IMRX, same thing, in it before the technical breakout. TSSI, in it before the technical breakout. We do this over and over and over again. Rhett, I started a dedicated day trading account to kind of show the power of this to our community about 32 days ago. And it's up 75% in those 32 days with very little risk, small capital usually, not many options. Rhett, tell people about the stats you've looked at.
Oh yeah, I'll get right into that right now, Ben. I mean, those stats are amazing. So going back since we started the daily show in our Discord channel, going back to July 24th until present, we have a 66% win rate on the top pick of the day with total returns of 97%, meaning that if you would have just allocated a certain percentage each day into that certain top pick of the day, you would have returned on average 2.5% a day.
2.5% a day on average. Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
That's incredible. And it's incredible because these are picks that we have conviction in throughout the day because we believe we don't get stopped out, right? We believe in the underlying story. We believe in the catalyst. We do some deep research and we're like, all right, we're sticking with this throughout the day. If you're just technical trading, you may get stopped out and you won't get those full returns of 2.4, 2.5%. What were some of the biggest gains here since you've looked at the data?
It out. And another thing I want to mention to them, Ben, is also the aspect of I'm just going through and just doing from the open to the close. So there was some days where we had told the community to bail on some of them, and also some days where we got into options contracts that returned over 100%. So I mean, it's even better than these returns, to be honest.
Absolutely. What were some of the biggest wins that you have there?
So I'm seeing some of the biggest from open to close is SMMT.
Summit. Yeah, that was crazy.
Summit again.
Okay. I'm looking for a re-entry in Summit, by the way. Okay, what else?
TSSI.
That was insane. All-time high. Well, 52-week high today.
Yep. Yeah. VKTX.
Which one? Oh, VKTX, right? I forgot about that pup. Oh, yeah, we nailed that one.
Yes,
VKTX.
we did. Yep. And then, I mean, the list goes on and on. RKLB. We also nailed SDIG.
Oh, they get the idea. All right, let's move. Let's move on into some
goes
stuff.
On and on.
All right, we got a lot to cover. I mean, I don't know how we're going to cover everything. We got the FOMC at 2 p.m. Godfather, let's cover the FOMC a little bit later, and I'm gonna interested in hear what you have to say. But just some individual stocks I want to bring to everyone's attention first. Zevra Therapeutics, ZVRA, as we speak, exploding to a new high. This was. Did I disappear? Oh, no, someone just focused in on the chart. Okay, this was a top pick yesterday, but actually we put it as a swing, not just a day trade, but also a swing because they are expected to get FDA approval of one of their drugs by maybe either Friday after the close or Monday. And we looked at the fundamentals. We looked at the chances of approval. I think you're going to see an event anticipation run. They also were at a conference, Cantor Fitzgerald conference yesterday. So the play here is low-hanging fruit, event anticipation run. The targets I gave this morning, 818 to 844. 818 to 844. That's just the low-hanging fruit without taking the risk of holding to find out if they get the FDA approval. And then aside from that, very high chance of approval. I'm taking actually some call options into the PDUFA date this weekend. Could get much higher levels. Lunar, thank you, the Godfather, for calling this out last night. You turned a red day for me and a lot of people in our community last night into a green day. We jumped on that news of $4.8 billion deal with NASA. So that's been on our radar. We've been trading that. This morning, a little bit. Am I back in TGTX? I got to check if I'm back in TGTX. But this has been a tough one to trade, but I'm actually green on it because we got in early. Our target was 26.95. I sold at 26.87. Had some re-entries here, so it's been tough the rest of the day, but I'm positive on it. Let me pause there. Godfather, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Yeah, I don't see your face, but I hear you. All right. What are your thoughts on where do you want to start? FOMC or any individual stocks you want to mention?
I guess we should touch on the FOMC, just because.
Pull up the macro list.
I think
IWM, TLT, gold, XBI, Bitcoin, QQQ, SPY, all in focus.
Yeah, look, I've gone to the sidelines. We had an incredible run in anticipation that rates were going to get cut more than initially expected. An incredible run on the steepener type trades, right? We saw it in Bitcoin, we saw it in gold, we saw it in nail, anything that we saw it in IWM, TLT, anything that benefits obviously from rates going down and going down at a pace that's faster than the market expects. So now the expectations are 60-some% that we're going to get 50. I maintain that we'll only get 25, but that the Fed will lean into its optionality. Everyone's got an opinion on this. I just think the market is too far ahead of itself. And yesterday, there wasn't a lot going on, except for volatility was rising. And I think that was to be expected. You're going to get a volatility crush after the Fed news comes out one way or another. And as a result, I sold volatility as per plan first thing this morning. So look, I have no idea where the market's going to go initially, but I think the important thing is not to get whipsawed around, trying to trade the exact decision or 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after. This is the beginning of a rate cutting cycle, and the Fed will respond based on the economy with more rate cuts. And so, the backdrop for these steepener trades and getting back in them is fantastic for the fall. The average PE on small cap stocks is like 10 times. So there's tremendous alpha in picking individual stocks in those groups. I can't wait to get back into NAIL, which is the 3X home builders and housing, building supply ETF. This thing got in at 133, sold all the way up to 165, now on the sidelines. Again, just in anticipation that we don't quite get exactly what the market expects.
So what if we do get that? What if we get the 50 basis points? Interesting. JP Morgan, I think, is one of the only ones out there saying 50 bips. The percent chance I'm hearing is 65% of 50 bips. What if JP Morgan is right? Look, I have an opinion. I may be wrong that JP Morgan is the most politically connected big bank out there. And maybe they know something. Maybe they know that it's going to be 50 bips, or maybe they're just trying to set the expectations at 50 bips just so it comes in at 25. I'm not sure. Maybe that's a little conspiracy theories talking here. But what if it does come in at 50 bips? How do you think the market's going to react this afternoon?
Yeah, there is a narrative out there that people will be scared. That 50 bips suggests that the economy is way weaker than appears on surface. I think that's a false narrative. I think ultimately, a 50 bip rate cut is going to do a lot more in terms of bringing money out of the sidelines. I mean, there's $6.3 trillion sitting in money market funds, and obviously, as rates come down, there is a greater incentive to have that money go into equities. So it's going to be bullish for the market, despite the fact that the market is already there in some respects. And this is my big concern, that the market has done a lot of work for the Fed here. We're close to 52-week highs on all the indices. I mean, NASDAQ is really the one that I'm watching because we're still some 5.5% off the highs, and that's been the leader here. And if you look at technicals on the QQQ, you'll see that we came right to the top of that range again. So I'm wary here, given the level of valuation and where we're at in the indices. So let's just get past this, I think, is the most important thing, and then have your shopping list ready, because I think the fertile ground is really through the end of September and through the election and into the final months of this year, and that's really where the big money is going to be made.
Yeah, and I'm on board with this. We started that show on X, the X Spaces show once a week on small caps. We started that perfectly, right on time, a couple months ago. Actually, let me show you the IWM chart here. When we had a light CPI print, it was back here, early July, right? That's when we started this. We're like, money is rotating. It's going to keep rotating. And I think you're going to see overperformance. So one thing I can say, I don't know if it comes in 50 bips. I guess I'm buying into that narrative a little bit. I'm a little worried about the narrative. But I think no matter what, I think IWM outperforms QQQ SPY. I think whether it's 25 bips or 50 bips, you'll see either a smaller drop in IWM than you will in QQQ SPY, or you'll see a bigger increase in IWM than you do in QQQ SPY. That's my take on it. So I might be out there shopping. If it is 50 bips, I might be buying one of these steepeners, as you call them. I just want to address a question someone has here. Why everybody trying to time everything? All right. Well, a couple answers to that. First of all, 95% of my assets are in stocks just long term, but there's nothing to talk about, right? We all know what to buy, and we just hold them long term. What we're talking about is day-to-day action with that 5%. We're here, we're doing this full time, and we're looking for opportunities to make money. That's why we're trying to time it. But the other reason is because we can. At Story Trading, we firmly believe you can time markets. And obviously, when you can time markets, you can make much more money by timing markets. And a little about the philosophy of why we believe you can time markets is because we believe markets are efficient. I love this topic. People hate me for it. A lot of fundamental investors hate me for it. What I mean by markets are efficient is that there's a reason why stocks are priced where they are. Now, you may disagree with that reason. All right. There's a logical and identifiable reason why stocks are priced where they are. I call that market efficiency. Someone else may come in and say, no, Ben, market's inefficient because the stock is only at a 10 PE. It should be 20 PE. No, I call BS on that. I say the market's always right. Yesterday's price is the correct price. Everyone who wants to trade can trade, right? So why is that important? What's this have to do with timing markets? What it means is that because yesterday's price was the correct price, when you have a delta of information, i.e. a catalyst, right, or a macroeconomic change, any delta of information, you get an immediate re-rating, you get an immediate delta in price, okay? And that's what we've seen here, especially when those that delta of information is a very strong delta of information that we're able to identify these inflection point catalysts in SMMT. This is about timing markets. Yesterday's price was the correct price on SMMT. You come out and you say you have a cancer drug that doubles your life, doubles the period of time where I don't not life expectancy.
Progression-free survival, Ben. I think of the word you're looking for.
Progression-free survival. There's your delta of information because markets are generally efficient. I don't mean to the second, but you get these rapid re-ratings after a delta of information. Same with PLCE. Flipping to profitability unexpectedly, you get a rapid re-rating. So why do we time markets? Because we can. We have the skill set to do it, and you make a ton more money when you do successfully time markets. Okay, what else we got going on? I love that topic. All right.
Just a heads up, your charts are frozen again, so I don't know if you can, or if
Yeah,
Red
you
or
know
Godfather
what?
or someone else can
After
share
this
your charts with.
show, I will have to. After this show, I will have to reset my computer. It's been acting funny
Let me
lately.
try yours
Someone have some charts they want to share over there?
All right, yours is up again. Seems to be working fine, but yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking there. I was showing the daily
up,
charts. Yeah, I was showing the daily charts of SMMT and PLCE on those inflection catalysts over there. All right. What else we got cooking? Godfather, you got anything? Any questions, Rhett?
Someone just brought up cores. I'd like to mention we still have a 4-pillar pick trade card open on that, and that's up 18% at the moment. I just looked at that. So
yeah, we still have an open position. I just sold some today because I was just looking in case we do get like a seasonality pullback in September. There's a lot of people worried about the rest of September. So in my long-term account, right, where I don't do much trading, I wanted to raise some cash this morning, and this is one of the places I did it because I'm up nicely and I just pared back by like 10-15%. Godfather, this is one of your picks, CORZ. What do you think about the stock here?
Yeah, I noticed that had some relative strength today. I didn't see any particular headlines, but there was a release a couple of days ago indicating that their largest HPC customer, CoreWeave, had extended their option. So, and this has really been the basis for this pick. If you want to have exposure to BTC, which I think is a good thing to have given our rate view and where we're at in the rate cutting cycle, now ultimately it's going to be positive for BTC. And I think also the important thing is you've got bipartisan support, it seems, for crypto as well. So adoption keeps expanding, but you can temper the volatility by having exposure to high performance compute. And there's a tremendous amount of demand for this. They're able to garner long-term contracts for it. Cores has been the leader so far in terms of megawatts dedicated to high performance compute. So, you know, every time I revisit the valuation on this, I come out with the same number, and it starts with a 2 handle. So, you know, this was a very painful name. It traded sideways between 9 and 11 for the longest time, and in our community we made money buying it at 9 and selling it every time it crested 10 or got into the mid 10s. It seems to have found a new level here. So again, this is a name that I own long term and then trade around a core position. I have not been trading it of late, but I'm holding my core because ultimately fundamental value for this thing is around $20.
Maybe we'll get a chance to buy the dip if there's only 25 bips. Someone asking here, markets are efficient. Please explain how Tesla's valuation is more than the big three automakers combined. Simple, because we don't believe market efficiency is based on fundamental value only. All right. Sentiment value is part of fair market value. You don't sell an asset to a spreadsheet. You sell your asset to another human being. Human beings are emotional. Human beings value assets based not only on fundamentals, but they value it also based on sentiment. So obviously, when you see something that doesn't match, when you say, oh my God, Tesla looks overvalued, what's that telling you? It's telling you there's a high sentimental value in Tesla. What are examples of sentimental value? It's things that you can't quantify. Things like qualitative things, like Elon Musk is a great leader. You don't know, who knows how many other businesses he gets into that's going to 5x the valuation. All right. That has value. That has real value. It has value even to a buyer. You know, back in the .com days, in 1998 to 2000, when everything exploded and then went bust. I remember there were, oh man, do you remember GeoCities, guys? There were a lot of, do you remember that? You're old enough, Godfather. GeoCity. All right, there were lots of these,
I don't recall that one particularly.
Yeah. I mean, there were lots of these internet companies that you could say they were overvalued, but guess what? A lot of them were bought by other larger companies at those overvalued, you can say overvalued prices. So because other companies are willing to pay that sentimental value, right? So that's what we mean in terms of markets are efficient. When you see an undervaluation or overvaluation, look for a reason. Why is it undervalued? Why is it quote unquote overvalued? Usually has something to do with sentiment. And then the most powerful catalyst in the market is when you get a catalyst that flips that sentiment on the head, proves that sentiment wrong, right? So let's say you have a stock that's really undervalued from a fundamental perspective. You do your homework, you find out it's because everyone thinks the CEO is just a crazy man. And they're going to punish the stock and it's going to be worth 0.5 where it should be from a fundamental perspective. Well, guess what happens? When he resigns, that stock explodes like 100% in 2 days, right? And that's because you respect other market participants. You respect the opinion of other market participants, and they're telling you that this stock deserves to trade. Tesla deserves to trade at 3 times the value. This other crap stock deserves to trade at 0.5 times the value because of this X, Y, and Z sentimental reasons. That's how we do it at Story Trading. All right. What else do we got here? Let's see. Let's check out our charts. All right. So just going here, we got Zevra doing great, swinging that. Event anticipation. ASTS, I'm looking for, oh man, I loaded up. This is now my second or third largest position in my long-term account. The Godfather, you convinced me on this. Thank you very much. TSSI, my number one largest position just yesterday. We predicted a near-term break of $5.64. We're at high at $5.57 today. Looks very likely we could break $5.64 today. We have an open swing card on this with much higher levels coming to you. We're breaking out of this $5 consolidation. So TSSI, my biggest gain of the year, doing well. My biggest position, have not sold a single share yet. IMRX, I'm looking for a re-entry. I'm also suspicious of an offering. I know, Godfather, you're not as suspicious an offering will come, but I'm looking at this, waiting for re-entry, also swinging a small core position on that. As we said, SMMT, I'm looking for a re-entry at some point. For me, not yet, waiting for lower levels. We'll see. That'll be nice to get that 20-day moving average on SMMT. Kind of missed the boat a little bit on PLC. We got this on that day. We played it for like a day, made great money, but then missed the other 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 open green count. Even though we gave you a target of 1330, I didn't play it the whole way. Unfortunately, I should have swung some. I gave you the target. I hit the target, exceeded the target. I only played it for that one day. What else do we got going on here? And any particular individual stocks you have on your radar, Godfather?
I just want to, since you mentioned IMRX, this is a little outside of, what I certainly do, small cap bios, but, these guys came out a relatively small trial, but pancreatic cancer, the most deadly of cancers, and they had 1 CR and another patient progressing to CR out of 5 patients, which is incredible. I think, Ben, you had some stats on other trials of 400 plus patients that, may have saw 1 or or
Yep.
2 responses. So
I think I think it was Bristol Myers Squibb, if I'm not mistaken. Their gold standard for pancreatic cancer approved like 10 years ago, and there's been nothing since. The trial, it's called, I think, the MPACT trial, that got that pancreatic cancer drug approved was something like 440 patients, and only one had a complete response, which hopefully we'll call that a cure. Hopefully it never comes back, right? But with IMRX, the very first patient that was treated was quote unquote cured. And the second one already looks like they could be on the way to a cure.
Yeah. So here's an example of, why it really caught our attention. And this is why I've thrown it in my long-term bucket, which it's the only small cap bio in my long-term bucket.
Oh, wow.
But I went on the conference call when they announced these results. And Jefferies, Morgan Stanley, Piper Sandler, Mizuho, Needham, Oppenheimer. I mean, these are big shops. They were all represented on the conference call. And this is a company that's got 60 million in net cash, burns 13 to 15 million a quarter. So they've got run rate till mid next year. And the important thing is that the company said this is the beginning of a chain of data readouts. So for that reason, given the cash runway, given the sponsorship of the company, and given that this is the beginning of a data release cycle, I'm willing to hold this, and I'm interested in trading around the position, which we've been actively doing, and I think doing quite successfully in our community. We bought stock this morning around the 250 level. We sold stock successfully up over $3 on the excitement a couple of days ago. Again, this is it's a spec for sure, but I think it deserves to be potentially in a long-term portfolio as well. So kind of a rare situation, but certainly one to keep eyes on.
Yeah, absolutely. This could eventually one day do a SMMT. I think the two things it needs, one is a few more data points because it's only 5 patients, and the other, get the offering out of the way. That being said, I get it. Look at that little bit of a W forming here. By the way, Zunaid, we got over 300 additional viewers on your show here using the software back here. I was able to stream to some other accounts. So nice to see a nice audience watching us and Benzinga here. Thanks, everyone, for joining. So yeah, IMRX, very, very interesting situation here. I'll tell you.
This is an example of one where if they raise money, it could actually go up depending 100%. On who participates in the offering.
I'm planning on buying. I don't know, man. They have more data coming out towards the end of the year. They have enough money through the second half of 2025. Are they going to wait for the data, towards the end of the year, or will they do an offering sooner? I feel like waiting, but you might be doing the right thing.
Yeah, look, the timing on that is hard to tell, but I think there's a very good opportunity that this thing trades up on an offering.
Yeah, 100%. 100% this goes up on an offering after an initial dip. Like if it's an extended hours, you could see the thing down to close to where it's priced at. Let's say whatever it is, 20-30% discount, probably going to have warrants. Right, you get an initial dip, I think, in extended hours, and then you're going to rip all day long. I'm totally with you on that. So I am carrying a small long-term position. This was a huge, huge win in our trading account the other day. We nailed it perfectly. It was beautiful. All right, so coming to a close. If you want to join us, you can head over to storytrading.com/Discord or scan the QR code up there. If there's any other questions, anything you want to bring up on the screen, we can do that. Right? If you see any questions, is anybody got anything for us? We could do that. I will say I bought some SoFi calls because IWM calls are so freaking expensive. So I bought some SoFi weeklies in case we do get 50 bips. I also have some SPY puts. So I got something going either way for the reaction. But I looked at the IWM calls. They're so expensive. So I said, you know what? Let me get SoFi calls as a proxy. $8 calls expiring Friday, or like 30 cents or something. I have a long-term position in this. I also have a long-term call option position in SoFi. I think this thing could be on the cusp. Now we have a rate cutting cycle. It could be on the cusp. This could be the inflection point to get a move over the next couple months to over $10.50. So look in SoFi here. Meta. Someone's asking about Meta. I can only comment on the technicals on Meta. Really, wow, they look good, don't they? Look at that weekly chart. I mean, what's there to say? That's just a beautiful chart. 543.71.
And your chart's not up yet. Refresh the page.
Oh, it's not working. I'm just going to stop the screen. We're right around 11:30. So what else do we got? Meta, I'll just say, yeah, that chart looks absolutely beautiful. To me, like Meta is just a stock you invest in. I don't really trade mega caps unless they have very strong catalysts. Every once in a while, we'll have a mega cap on our show as a top pick or a four-pillar pick. And that's when there's very, very strong catalysts. We'll do that. In fact, I don't think we closed our Intel. I opened the Intel swing pick on this Amazon news the other day. How's it doing? And I don't think I'm going to close it. So I think I'm going to hold this Intel swing idea for a move to get into that gap and potentially move over that 50 DMA. You can't see the chart now, but yeah, something like Meta, we don't actively trade. We just invest in those bigger caps. And RCAT, thinking about it, asking about RCAT, well, we're waiting for news. It could come any day, could be late next week. If they get the award we want from the Department of Defense, U.S. Army, the thing could be a multi-bagger. How about a 1 week trial for VIP? Do we have any trials, Rhett?
I don't think we have any trials running at the moment. No.
What do we have? Any price specials?
We just have, you can try out the community for 1 month for $9.99 for the first month using code profits for our link and the Godfathers as well.
Profits. Oh, head on over, by the way, if you want to get Godfather's content, head over to his handle on X, smantle. Follow the link in his bio. Also, it's storytrading.com/thegodfatherknows. So if you want to interact primarily with him, or if you like his stuff, make sure to upgrade to our Discord through his link, storytrading.com/thegodfatherknows. Again, X at smantle. RCAT short on. Someone has an RCAT short on. No, thank you. I will.
The other thing that I think it's worth noting there, everyone's waiting for this military contract, but because they have passed muster with the U.S. government in terms of approvals, and you need that to bid on these contracts, they are open for business from NATO countries, and there is a movement afoot, across all of NATO countries to have U.S.-based drone manufacturing, certainly diversify away from China, which dominates that. And we saw AV win contract again today from Greece. So look, there is certainly a trend towards using drones in the battlefield. And I think there's a very good chance that they're going to win or share with the incumbent on some military contracts here, expecting the date around the 27th of this month. But keep in mind that NATO contracts could come at any time, prior or post.
Yep. You got multiple shots on goal with RCAT, not just this Army contract. Yeah.
And without any new contract awards, the fundamental value is $3. So I think you're relatively well supported to the downside here.
All right. Appreciate the insights there. Definitely something to look forward to. Ben, Rhett, Godfather, appreciate you guys for hopping on, and we'll see you next week.
Sorry about those technical issues. I'll have to go reset.
Nah, no worries, man. It all happens. No worries. No worries at all, brother. See you next time. I'll shoot you a text.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
Right. See ya. All right. Chat. We love to get insights in terms of what's happening in the charts and what's happening in the markets, but we also love to talk to executives from publicly traded companies as well and see what exactly is going on inside their company, what's going on in the pipeline, and have your questions answered. So we'd love for you to participate in the chat. Coming up, we've got Jacob Cohen, who is the CEO of Mango RX. Ticker on the NASDAQ is MGRX. All access starts right now. Jacob, welcome back to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Z? Good to see you again, man.
Good to see you. I'm looking forward to seeing if you go ahead and take a pill again or not. We'll find out as we go through this interview. But for the folks that might not have caught our great conversation the first time around, give us a quick brief overview of what is it that Mango RX does.
Yeah, Mango is a men's health and wellness company. We're a telemedicine company, so we have a telehealth platform where we are marketing our own branded types of compounded medications through our proprietary telemedicine backend at MangoRx.com. And we have a great number of products that are currently on the market, from what we call erectile function We also have a hair loss or hair growth drug as well, compounded medication, and our most recent oral form of testosterone replacement therapy that's FDA approved called Prime. And we have coming shortly, we're very, very excited about the oral dissolvable tablet for oral form of GLP-1 drugs of semaglutide and tirzepatide as well, which we are really, really awaiting the launch of that. So, so that's what we're doing right now on our website, and very, very excited.
I know you have a couple of developments here. I believe on August 13th, you got a certificate of grant in India for its respiratory illness and preventative care technology patent. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So we went ahead and acquired an intellectual property back in, I believe it was back in April or May, I believe. Again, this has been such a lot happening this year. We're very excited about this intellectual property because it fits within our portfolio in that it's a preventative type of a medication. It's a non-RX. It's not a prescription. It utilizes nutraceutical ingredients that effectively, when you take this in either a lozenge format or an ODT or even, quite frankly, a mouthwash or a toothpaste, it coats the mouth enough that it prevents viruses and bacteria from entering. So it's a very effective product. We acquired that intellectual property. It was valued about $35 million. We were able to acquire it for about $20 million in some of our preferred stock. And so obviously now that's on the books of our company. And we're in the process of getting efficacy trials underway right now so that we can state the claims against that medication. And so it's a global patent portfolio. So we have a patent it's been granted in Japan, it was granted in India, of course, in the United States, and various places in Europe and Latin America, et cetera. So we were very excited when we got that notice of effectiveness in Japan. I also believe we just got the approval in Australia, which I think we also was another one of the announcements we made. So going through efficacy trials, and we're going to start to work on a go-to-market strategy for that product very soon as well.
There's a lot of exciting things that you're doing. You mentioned, the hair loss aspect of it. I know there's you call it Man Go, right? And there's a reason for that as well. Let's talk about competitors. I'm curious, how is Man Go different from any of the other competitors out there?
So Mango was originally established to compete with the industry at that time, because at the time, all these other telemedicine companies were doing was basically selling you what you could get over, at a regular pharmacy, non-compounded medications, right? Generic drugs. So we wanted to take it a step further. And again, Man Go, obviously, we want men to go hard and perform in all aspects of life. So we're going to create products and medications that allow men to be at their peak performance at all times, or at their prime, right? And so that was the vision that we had when we started the company. And that's really our competitive advantage. And every single product that we launch to market is not only marketed in a different way, but all the formulas are proprietary. They're compounded. We're not just selling generic medications that you can get from a doctor and go to your local CVS or Walgreens and pick up. So, we're very strategic in that effect because we want to be different. And that's how we're differentiating ourselves both in the marketplace and against our competitors.
I might have to have my people reach out to your people, because I'm literally in the process of trying to get something to stop the hair loss and trying to rejuvenate that side of things. So I'll definitely reach out.
My people are standing by, man. My people are standing by. I'll give you a code. I'll give you a promo code.
We'll make that happen. I know we talked about India. We talked about the United States. Is there anything, because I think I read somewhere where you had a new natural male wellness product that you're developing and planning on introducing in the Chinese market as well. You might have kind of already briefly touched on that, but explain to me how that process works. And again, how is that different from the US?
So as you can imagine, we've gotten a lot of interest from outside of the US because of our brand. Everyone loves the Mango brand, and we have a group of individuals who have a distribution agreement within the Asian markets, and they've taken it upon themselves basically to bring the Mango brand to Asia. Now, of course, what we currently are producing in America are pharmaceutical products that therefore require prescription. It's very different in every country. So for the Asian market, we received a request for proposal, and I put a press release about this, a request for proposal for a men's sexual enhancement or performance type of nutraceutical, which we are in the process of creating. and we hope to be able to present that proposal to them in very short order and start getting this product that's going to be specifically sold and exclusively sold in the Asian market through that distribution agreement. So we're working on that. It's been in the process. We have a wonderful director of medical research and product innovation. He's a doctor that helps us with all of our formulations, and he's been helping spearhead this this effort as well. So we're very excited about that, because that could really bring in some tremendous top line revenue for us, and honestly really good profits as well. It's just it's really a perfect type of scenario. So very excited about that.
I'm sure the margins there are good. All right, so we went to India, we went to China. Let's come back and talk about the world in a remote sense, in the world that I believe you also successfully migrated to an FDA-approved telemedicine app. How big of a deal is this, and what do you expect for this to be kind of like an inflection point? Where do we go from here?
So just not to correct you, but I have to correct you.
Oh, please.
It's actually a DEA approved, approved. Yeah. Different 3-letter word, right? So different 3-letter agency. So we've just completed a massive rebuild, or what we call the 2.0 of our telehealth platform. And our previous 1.0 platform, which we went to market with, it got us to market. It got us to where, we can start getting some scale and onboarding customers, but we needed something a lot more robust. We basically, our platform is what connects our customers to the pharmacy, to our doctors network, to labs, et cetera, to any other third parties, right? So we needed to make sure that basically our platform was a single source of truth. So what we did is we created that platform. We got it certified by the DEA, because we have controlled substances now that we're able to sell, specifically our TRT product. So, or Prime, as we call it. And because that's a controlled substance, the DEA actually come in and audit your system to make sure that it is completely secure from treating anything that's controlled. It comes with a high level of sensitivity and high level of complexity. So we were able to get that approved, and that is a differentiator for us. A lot of our competitors are not selling controlled substances on their telehealth platform. Specifically, HIMSS is not, Roman is not. There's not, so there's only a few out there, and we're one of them, and which again is another thing that really sets us apart from our competitors.
I would much rather you correct me. So the other 3-letter word of the SEC doesn't knock on my door. So again, correction, my apologies. It is DEA.
No, that's fine.
Telemedicine app. But I think it is exciting because, I mentioned to the chat, I did an interview yesterday, had a doctor's appointment. And now when I have follow-ups, I can just communicate remotely via video call or whatever the case may be, or an app, and I got my blood work done. So now it's easy for me to look at the app and say, okay, cool, everything is good. I need to take these vitamins, whatever the case may be. I think it's very beneficial. It saves time. And as we know, time is what we all lack.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's, we're going to continue to evolve this platform, the software platform. Right now, when you go, let's say you want to order our testosterone product, you go to our website and we have a partner lab that we basically send you to get your blood work. And then once you get your blood work, come back to our site and then you start the process. But we're going to start integrating it so that you're acquiring the blood work from us. Your blood results end up coming in your dashboard in our portal. So again, we're trying to make all those friction points, or actually we're trying to mitigate all those friction points so that everyone comes into our system. We're the single source of truth. And we really capturing that customer and keeping them within our funnel, and not sending them to another website or sending them to Quest or LabCorp like some other places are, right? And then you never hear from them again. So it's a good point. So you understand the struggle. You're doing it yourself.
And I think it's as I've gotten older, I've genuinely accepted the concept that wealth is, or health is wealth. Excuse me, that's what I was trying to say. So you see some people in the chat talking about how their knees hurt and this hurts and that hurts, and it's like, man, as long as you have good health, that's the most thing that's important. So I completely love what you guys are doing on that aspect of it. We talked about the DA approval, but let me ask you this: are there any regulatory changes that you're hoping to see? It is election year. A lot of people are looking at what could be happening in the marijuana space and different things like that. But for you as a company, are there any major regulatory changes that you're hoping to see that would help Mango grow?
I mean, it's not, we want things not to change. So I think that what we would like to see are the current telehealth regulations continue to be in place that were installed in, the system from COVID, right? Because COVID is really what jump-started or fast-tracked where we are today with telehealth. And some of the states are kind of threatening to pull back and say, no, we want now people to come back into the brick and mortar. But I think that they're realizing that it is working. So there's no reason to fix it, right? Why fix something that's not broken? So if anything, we want everything to stay the same and not, we don't want more regulation back into it where there doesn't have to be. So that's kind of what we're hoping right now.
Well, look, I appreciate the insights. We talked about what's in the pipeline, all the other countries you're expanding in. The tele aspect of it is great to hear as well. Is there anything that I missed that you wanted our viewers to know about? The floor is all yours.
No, just we're very excited about this new platform, and because it's just going to give us it's just going to give us a lot more functionality to be able to add more products easier onto the platform. This is going to allow us really to grow and scale rapidly. So, just all I'll say is be on the lookout for some really new, really powerful news coming out and some good products that we're hoping to launch. And, just keep MGRX on that favorites, your ticker list. So that's all I got to say, man. Yeah.
We'll add it to the watch list. Appreciate your time here, Jacob.
Thank you, Z. It's good to see you, man.
You got it. Take care. Talk soon. That is Jacob Cohen, who is the CEO of Mango RX. Ticker on the NASDAQ again is MGRX. And we thank you for watching All Access.